Hello, friends of Skele Vader. Welcome to another episode of Toy Frenzy with Oz Geis and me, Skele Vader. The Wizard of Oz is with us right now, so thank you all for being here, and thank you, Oz, for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Skele Vader, for having me on for another week of Toy Frenzy. Can't wait to really get into some of this news.
Yeah, so much news, and so much of it is, I feel like, and you know this too because you watch all the same channels I do, but I feel like a lot of it's been talked about already, but definitely not our perspective, and that's why we're here today. Yeah. All right, so look, we've got Thanos here. Thanos Copter. Hey guys, how's it going, Thanos? Welcome to the channel.
Thanos Copter. Love that name.
Yes, that's awesome. And Jay Peregrine's back.
Nice Jay Peregrine, again. How are you doing?
Thanos, I think your first time to this channel. I think I don't recognize your name, so welcome to it. We're excited to have you as part of the Skele Vader and Oz Guys team.
That's right.
And Gamer Bud, welcome back. Good to see you.
Gamer Bud, excellent. Glad to have you back on.
Yeah. All right. So I'm really excited, and Oz, you were able to find some great slides, and yeah, we're really excited to get into this. Well, Thanos, you missed the first one. Welcome to the second one. I hope you're able to watch the rerun of it.
Definitely go back and check that out. Because there was a lot of great news we went over, plus reviewing Wondar. Such an awesome figure, and definitely check that out, especially if you haven't got your hands on one yet.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of which, Oz, have you found anything this week, like any toys or anything interesting that you want to share?
I was going to say maybe we should go over some picks or anything if we have anything. Sadly, I in toy hunting this week did not have any luck. As I said, shelves around. If I wanted 1,000 nude Stratos and Jitsu, I'd be good to go. I'm really thinking about redefining instead of calling it toy hunting, I'm just going to call it Where's Lando. I don't feel like my toy hunt is complete unless I've been to the toy section and found the vintage collection Lando sitting somewhere on a shelf. He's always there.
Yeah, he is. Welcome, Duchess of Darkness. Good to see you.
Hi, Duchess. Great. Glad to have you back.
Yes. We're going to talk about you in a moment, Duchess, so stick around. Oz, I had the same problem. I went to the store a couple times, didn't find anything new. And if I had unlimited funds, I would just buy all the Landos that I see just to give them a home, because it's so depressing to see all those Landos. Literally, so many of them.
It's a shame. Where's the love for Lando?
I know, he's a great character.
Great character. I just assume everybody around here who is collected has Lando already. And, now so many people bought him up that Hasbro felt the need to ship out so many more units of Lando. Yeah. And that's what the problem. I think that's what's going on here, because poor Billy D. Williams is getting no love off the shelf right now.
It's really too bad. He's actually one of my top 3 favorite characters from Star Wars. So
yes,
it's a little sad.
Yeah, with his introduction in Empire Strikes Back, I loved Cloud City, loved him.
Yeah,
and then even his returning role in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not even just Billy D. Williams Lando either. Always a bit of a controversial thing. I really enjoyed the Solo movie.
Yeah,
I had fun with that. And Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian, I totally see that as being young Lando.
For sure.
He did really, really well. And I'm kind of sad we may not see more of that, because I really feel like I need more of that in my life.
Yeah, you know what, with all the hate that movie got, Solo, I have to say that I definitely have my complaints, but Donald Glover is my favorite part. Favorite part about that. And we got Thanos here. I stick mostly to Motu, but yeah, trying to find stuff in the stores has been pretty frustrating. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
on that Thanos.
And Corey, sorry I'm late watching The Conjuring, so I can't listen right now. Here for the support until the movie ends. Well, that's great because The Conjuring's a lot of fun, so enjoy it.
Conjuring is really good. And Corey, he's actually one of my closest friends. In part of what we're going to be talking about here with the rulers of the sun and Sun Man, who he is, and a little bit of the history of that.
Mm-hmm.
Corey was with me when we watched Pixel Dan has done an amazing interview with, and I hope I'm going to make sure I remember to pronounce her name right, Wyla Eason.
Yes.
And, you know, her story and the story of Olmec Toys is outstanding. I really, really love it. That's why I'm glad we're going to be talking about it tonight and sharing a bit of that because it's outstanding story. And he does an interview with her that goes really in depth with everything. I know we're just going to do more of an overview, but it's really, really great. And I know we had talked earlier about putting the link to that video in the description just to let people know, hey, if you need all the info, come here. But Corey was with me when we watched that. And the whole reason that I have Sunman in my collection is because right after we got done watching that video, Corey went online and pre-ordered 2 of them from Amazon for me. So I had to wait a couple of months till they got here. You know,
that's awesome.
Them in store. I never saw them in store, but
no,
I managed to get 2 of them. One I've opened for my collection. The other one sits sealed in box. I kind of want to open it because I want to do some customs with Sunman, but I may not open this one due to the fact that, again, I know I sent a slide over, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too as we get into more of what's going on with the rulers of the sun.
Yeah, for sure. I had to order my Sunman. I was not seeing him in the stores. I was lucky enough to get him through the Target app. Right. And I'm kind of kicking myself for not getting 2. Because he's such a great design for a character and the whole story behind him. When they announced that at PowerCon last September, and it was my first PowerCon. My family and I went, and we were sitting there in the audience when they announced it, and we were all just so stoked. Like, that's such a great thing. And
awesome.
Welcome the Prowler. How's it going?
Prowler, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
So for those of you that don't know yet, the Duchess of Darkness is here. She's joined us. Oz, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about the Duchess and what she does?
Duchess of Darkness is an amazing horror and gothic poetry narrator. She has a YouTube channel, Duchess of Darkness. Every Wednesday, she does a premiere video where we have the chat, and you can join her and several others of us in there as we listen to her narrate her stories on Wicked Wednesdays. And her voice just really, really helps set the mood and gives you chills all throughout. I know, Skele Vader, you popped on this past Wednesday. Oh, man, some of the horror stories were definitely creeping us out. So if you guys can, go check out her channel, give her a like, give her a subscribe, listen to a few of the stories. And I'm hoping to see some of you this upcoming Wicked Wednesday for another show.
Yeah, it was, I popped in, it was my first time, and got to hear some of those stories. And I was like, I thought this is the perfect thing for when I was just made me want fall, made me want some rain, have a candle lit, have some stuff, have the lights down low, and and sit in the corner and listen to the super creepy stuff. Really great, Duchess. So thank you for being here, and I'm really excited that Oz introduced me to your channel. It's so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite holiday is Halloween. I've always loved Halloween. So for me, as soon as July 4th ends, spooky season begins and runs all the way through till November 1st. So she really set the mood for this time of year and building up towards Halloween.
Definitely. Our family, we love Halloween too. We always get set up like a good month beforehand. So the end of September, we really start to set up and get excited about it. And so Duchess of Darkness, you're right. You're getting us in the mood. So that's awesome. Thank you. We got another comment here from Gamer Bud. I got my Origin Sunman a while ago, but I managed to get a Target pre-order for the Masterverse Sunman for $13. Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, that's a great price. Wow. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Masterverse Sunman and the Masterverse Pigman too, because I don't want to jump the gun here, but that Masterverse Pigman is ridiculously awesome. Yeah, it's probably
wait to get into
one of my 3 favorite things I saw revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. So Oz, shall we get started? Shall we look at some pictures
let's get
here?
into this. Yeah, I mean, unless you had any picks this week.
No, nothing. I wasn't able to find anything out there. Like I said, I was looking around and oh no, that's not true. Oh no, that I'm thinking of last Saturday, and we talked last Saturday, but I don't think I showed what I found.
No, we didn't go over any picks last Saturday. No.
Well, so last Saturday, our daughters and I went to like a street sale, and I found a few great figures. Let's see if I have them here. Oh yeah. I posted them on Instagram, so those of you that are on my Instagram, apologies for repeating this information, but I got myself a Slash from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this guy was a great price, and I'm not even going to talk about it, but yeah. So, but yeah, he came with his weapons, which is always a good thing. I'm not a huge Turtles fan, but I really love this character because he's super strange.
He was one of my absolute favorite toys when I was younger. He was definitely one of the highlights, in my opinion, of the TMNT line from Playmates.
Yeah,
always loved him.
He's so cool, and it comes with you got a little dagger.
Oh, you got all the weapons. Nice.
Yeah, sure. He's missing a couple. He's missing a couple things, but he's in pretty good shape. We'll take a moment here. Duchess just said thank you both very much for the shout out. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for being awesome and putting your stuff out there.
That's right. Thank you for all the great content. I always look forward to every Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's awesome. For those of you that are tuning in a little late, definitely tune into the Duchess of Darkness YouTube channel. Subscribe, click like on those previous videos. And she on every Wednesday night she goes live and you get to hear her tell some creepy stories. It's pretty awesome. Let's see, the Turtles, the Prowler. Oh man, the Turtles. I wish I still had some of those figures. Yeah, I had some when I was a kid. Not a lot. I wasn't a huge fan, but Slash is one I never had as a kid, and I was already sort of getting out of toy collecting when he came around, so really excited to find him. Then we also found this Dracula, which is cool.
Oh,
1997 Dracula. It's hard to find out. There it is. Okay,
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's a cool guy. I love. Speaking of Halloween, right? We have when we do start setting up for Halloween stuff in our house, we have a whole slew of Halloween figures that we put out on display.
Beautiful. That's great.
Let's see. Is there anything else I feel like I'm forgetting? Oh yeah. Walter White reaction figure from
Nice.
Breaking Bad. We're huge fans of Breaking Bad. I could not resist this. This guy was, all these were, I don't think I spent more than $15.
Really?
And the Beast. Yeah.
Oh, that's a gorgeous Beast figure.
Yeah, he's the small one. I forget the name of the line, but the particular line. But this is a really great Beast. I love Beast because he's an intellectual and he's awesome.
Yes.
Anyways, we're just delaying the inevitable. We're gonna get into looking at some San Diego Comic-Con reveals.
That's right.
All right, I'm gonna get I'm gonna add the slideshow to the stream, and there we go. So again, Oz, thank you for finding these pictures out there in the wild. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a bit to hunt them down. You get a little bogged down with all the riffraff or some poor quality images. Fortunately for these ones, I actually got them straight from the artist himself, Axel Jimenez, who does all the penciling. The group of guys that he works with doing the box art for the Masters of the Universe Origins, it just doesn't get much better than the work that these guys do. Yeah. And I love that for the 3-pack here, this is the box art for the 3-pack. They've went with a little bit different styling. Here we go. You see we have Pighead, of course, the arch villain of Sunman. We have Sunman in the middle, and then we have Space Sumo on the right there. Now, already Sunman, he was an exclusive. Was it a PowerCon exclusive or a Mattel Creations exclusive?
Mattel Creations, yeah. They announced they posted I think they put him up for sale during PowerCon, but it was a Mattel Creations exclusive. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they had come out with that kind of deluxe Sunman at the time, came with the alternate head sculpt and everything. And then he later got a regular retail release without all the goodies and extras. And now this will be a third version of him in this 3-pack where he's got that flat top haircut, which I think is great, giving a little bit variation for those of us who have already bought him. The pig head is a variant as well. The pig head that is at the retail release right now, if you're lucky enough to find him in store, he actually has more of a matte finish. This pig head has more of a metallic finish on his accessories and all of his little blue parts. Oh, hi, Maribel. Wow. Glad you could make it tonight. Thank you very much for stopping in to say hi.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Is really awesome. Glad to see everybody showing up and jumping in and saying hi in the chat. It's really great to see all you guys here.
Yeah. If any of you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to post them in the chat. We'll definitely acknowledge you and try to answer your questions as we're going through this stuff. Oz, I'm gonna go grab my Sunman. He's over in the other room. I'm gonna go grab him. I'll be right back.
Okay, excellent. I'll go ahead and keep talking about what we have here and keep the show rolling. So also with this, we have Space Sumo, who is a ninja character with the line. Now, I've got to say, overall, I didn't know a whole lot about Rulers of the Sun up until about 3 months ago. But after hearing the story of it, I'm all in for Rulers of the Sun. I think it's one of the greatest toy lines that was ever out there.
I totally agree. And I remember seeing some of the figures. Maybe it was like a trip. There was a store here on the West Coast called Gemco, and I remember seeing Pigman for sure. So at least once, and I just didn't click that this was I knew it was inspired by Masters of the Universe, but I didn't know anything about what Olmec Toys were doing, and
right.
But it makes so much sense now in retrospect, and it's great that Mattel has focused so much attention on the story of this particular line.
Yes, it really is. I mean, one of the biggest things about Rulers of the Sun that has intrigued me is, you know, when I initially started seeing them and everything, you know, there were so many different Masters of the Universe knockoff toys at the time in the 80s. Everybody was trying to get in on it. And some of them were better quality, some of them, you know, were poor quality overall. You know, it was really mixed matches as to like what you could really want to fill in your Masters of the Universe collection. And I love the fact that you know, all mech toys with Rulers of the Sun, they were pretty close, better than some of the other guys. But you know, you had what was it, Remco with Warlords, and just so many variations here. I see we got a comment from Gamer Bud.
Yeah. Gamer Bud says, yeah, I want this set for sure, but I'll probably wait until it's on sale. Yeah, I'm with you too. But seriously though, Gamer Bud, I saw this set and I saw that these were variations, you know, variants of the figures. So you can see here, Sunman has sort of a normal haircut here in this, but in the new release or in this 3-pack, he's going to have the flat top, which is cool. And then, as Oz mentioned, that Pigman's going to have sort of a shimmery finish to him. And and then I also, this is one, I'm usually an opener. This is definitely something that I feel like I want to keep in package. Not only because it's got that great 40th anniversary sticker up there in the upper right hand corner, but also because of what the Rulers of the Sun represent as having been a reaction to Masters of the Universe in the 80s. So this is how far we've come, and how the diversity is present, and Mattel is recognizing the diversity. And that being, so I feel like I'm going to keep this. I'm going off on a tangent, I know, but I feel like I'm going to really try and keep this in box. Although I don't know, I may break that rule. So Gamer Bud, you also said my headcanon is Pig Boy from the live action '87 movie is the son of Pigman, and he was playing with magic and got transported to Eternia, and Pigman is on the search for a son. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I love Pig Boy from the live action '87 movie, so that's a really great idea.
That is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Sumo won't only be available in this set. I have a fear that he might be.
We will be going over that actually once we get to some of the slides with the other Space Sumo. Eric, excellent. It's so good to see you here.
Eric, welcome to it. I've done the same thing, watching the old episode or watching the previous episode, thinking, that's fine, no problem. Welcome to it. I'm glad you made it.
That's right.
And then another comment from Gamer Bud. I'll open mine, but I'm going to take the second Sunman and make custom Lunar Man. Maybe like a faker version. Ooh, that's awesome.
I like that good idea. Thinking. That's a really good idea. Yeah.
Good thinking, Gamer Bud. Man.
For those of you who don't know, with Sunman and All Mech toys, when Masters of the Universe had come out back in the early 1980s, you know, just to say it, there wasn't a lot of diversity in the more human-esque characters. Champ wasn't around yet, and Willa Eason's son wanted, you know, he was upset he could not be a superhero because to him there were no black superheroes. And this really affected her in looking at representation in the toys at the time. And there was also a big study going on that just proving that they really needed some more positive role models and representation with that. So she was fortunately in a position where she was able to talk with a toy maker, and they started getting into designing. She herself was actually designing the toys, although again, if you check out Pixel Dan's interview, she gets more into her role in that and everything with making them. But they went ahead and created a whole action figure line called Rulers of the Sun. And these weren't to compete with He-Man in any way. It was actually, marketed as a works with your Masters of the Universe toys that you already have, can be played with Masters of the Universe. So from the very start, she wasn't trying to actually compete with He-Man. She was just trying to put some more diversity out there that you could put in the toy line, which is great. And she went ahead and created a entire 10-figure line. I know I sent over one of I'm not sure if it's a card back. It's an old image of the entire Rulers of the Sun toy line. That was it right there.
Here it is, yeah.
Where you can just see from this picture all of the representation that they have, different cultures, ethnicities, all within. And I got to say, I really, really feel bad for Pighead because he's the only bad guy I see up there.
Yeah, he's got a lot of people to fight off. He is and it's funny because he is the only non-humanistic character who is the villain, and I think that that's a really wise choice on the creator's part, because it makes the human the hero no matter what your background is.
That's right,
which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah, this is such an awesome thing that I'm so glad that Mattel decided to recognize this finally.
Me too. Them bringing it into the line and getting the licensing right to be able to produce these toys and get these characters back on the shelves. Because again, up until about 3 months ago, I did not know a lot about this line whatsoever. But again, after watching that interview and learning about it, it made me want everything in this picture right here. And so when Mattel had announced originally, what was it, just 5 of them? Actually, no, I think it was only 4. It was Sunman, Pighead, Digitino, Space Sumo, and I think that was it. I don't think there was.
That was it.
Yeah,
that was definitely it.
So out of, again, even just such a short run line of 10 figures, only putting 4 in the overall line, I was kind of like, man, that's a shame. And then with their announcements this year at San Diego Comic-Con, it just shows the longevity that they're going. They're playing the long game with everything here.
We're going to see all these characters finally come out, or not finally come out, but finally come out in the Origins line. And yes, as Gamer Bud mentioned, Space Sumo's mask does come off, which is very cool. It's something I wish we would have had with the Origins Ninjor as well.
I agree.
But what can you do? It's great that Space Sumo's mask will come off. Let's see, what other image did I miss here? I got that. This one. All right, we got this character here. He's awesome. We're going to see him.
That is Hypno, and for me, he looks like he's got a very Egyptian-style deco, which I definitely like. For some reason, Egyptian definitely calls out to me. Hi, Ganga. Good to see you again.
Ganga, glad you're here. I have something to say about Ganga in just a little bit after we've gone through some of these slides. So it's great you're here. I was waiting for you to show up just so I could make a little statement. So thank you for being here. So yeah, this is Hypno. Sorry to interrupt there, Oz.
Oh no, it's absolutely fine. Because again, I'm still learning about these characters. I don't know everything about them yet. And sadly, it's like, as far as the individual characters go, like with Masters of the Universe, we got a mini comic with every figure that kind of went a little more in depth about the lore of the characters. Unfortunately, with Rulers of the Sun, there was only one comic that ever got put out. So there's not a lot of story driven behind each one of the characters. But for what the line accomplished, though, I've never seen quite as a diverse toy line as Rulers of the Sun. And all these little and I'm going to bring it up again later when we go over a different slide towards back into the show. This like falconer kind of, we've got this bird clipped onto his wrist here. I think that's cool. I'm a sucker when they put like little critters in something, like when the Battlefield Warriors 2-pack was announced with Battle Cat and He-Man. I love those little gargoyles for your cat.
Man, I want to say it's worth it to get that set just for those little gargoyle dragons and have them. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I didn't. Last week, since you went over some of your picks from last week, I will say last week I did score a great deal on the getting a second Battlefield Warriors 2-pack.
Nice,
awesomely clearance reduced price.
There you go. There you go.
Oh yeah, can't beat that $14.99 price.
Oh, it's so good, so perfect.
I see we got a couple more chats down here.
We've got Darth Dave, Battle Cats,
and again, Skele Vader. Darth Dave happens to be a good friend of mine. We've known each other for several years. We used to be gaming buddies.
That's awesome. Welcome to it, Darth Dave.
Battle Cats is it's a funny story to get into, where late night gaming, screaming and yelling, and then angry people because of screaming and yelling.
Yeah, but hey, it happens, right?
It happens. You get excited. What can we say?
I'm glad you popped in, Darth Dave.
It's good to see you.
I gotta say, this Hypno tool that he has, it looks like a giant lollipop, and I think that's awesome. But it's also great because it also reminds me so much of like a weapon or a gimmick that a villain in maybe like the 1966 Batman TV show would have used on Batman. Yeah. It's sort of over the top, brightly colored. It's obvious what this tool is going to be used for. And it's a little silly, which is something that we've always loved about, Masters of the Universe anyways. And especially here with Rulers of the Sun, you've got these sort of wonderful oddballs. And I don't know if you've heard anything, Oz, but is that Falcon going to be a glittery plastic? It almost looks like a glittery plastic.
Yes, from what I've seen, all the shots that I could see, it looks like it's a very silverish, glittery plastic, which is something I feel like we used to see it a lot more used in toys, not so much now.
Yeah. So I hope it's sort of it's like plastic molded with glitter embedded. It's kind of what it looks like to me. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Timmy V, welcome.
Timmy V, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here. And definitely love covering, talking about Rulers of the Sun. It's a really awesome addition.
Yeah, definitely. And Darth Dave gave us a thumbs up. So let's see. Next in the line, we have this character here.
Yes, this is Boltman, which they showed off a little bit on the design panel. He's going to be one of the first wave out of the Rise of the Snake Men line coming up. And I think that's going to be a really cool addition. I'm wondering how, with all the mini comics that they do for these guys, the mini comic, it's one per wave for those of you who don't know. And within that one mini comic, they kind of introduce and go over all of the characters that are in that current wave, give them a bit of an introduction. So I'm really interested to see how he works in, because I thought it was really neat how they managed to pull Sunman in the last mini comic that they put out with that wave.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's certainly going to be intriguing.
Definitely. And I'm already intrigued by the colors on the Legend of Space Sumo mini comic that we see in the back of Boltman.
Yes.
It looks fantastic. It looks like a total throwback to the 80s, those bright colors. Everything we love about, figures that came out during that time seems to be embodied there. I feel even like a little bit of a throwback to Gem and the Holograms a little bit in the use of color here.
I do agree that pink blending into the blue, it was used quite frequently back then, especially with like neon signs and everything.
Yes.
So it's really nice seeing where Axel and the guys have incorporated that into the art. It definitely gives it that very retro feel.
Definitely. And I really love what's going on with Boltman's weapons. It looks to me like he might, looks like there's little hooks on the end that might look like they hook onto something, or maybe he could use them to like grapple or swing from with like a string or something. But very interesting.
Yeah, it's very, very neat. And I like the fact that it looks like they've even on his armor on the back, it looks like they've got some little slots where you can put those in, which I always like it when they incorporate for places on the figure to hold the weapons and the accessories that come with them.
Absolutely. And Gamer Bud said, I love seeing those don't have much paint on them, because as a figure painter, my brain is always thinking of cooler color schemes or things to add to him to really make them pop. Yeah, absolutely. And if they were to add more paint apps or washes or things like that, then we wouldn't feel the pull to be creative with them, and they would actually go against the whole concept here, which is like being able to switch the parts around and have that kind of creative relationship to these Origins figures. It would be contradictory. So, while respecting figure design, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. I mean, that is one of the great things about this line, and when you can picking up several at retail, I definitely have picked up quite a few extras here and there, and the idea of really customizing those it's so appealing. However, I've never really done any custom paints on any of my figures before. I've got some paints, got them for Christmas so that I could start doing some customization. I want to start small and like some power sword accessories and see what I can do there. Before seeing the real Wondar, I was actually planning on turning one of my extra He-Man into one myself. So Mattel saved me the job of having to do so. But if I had missed out, I would have had it covered, because I eventually would have done it myself anyway.
Yeah. And and Eric says this dude is giving serious Rocky Maivia vibes. Sure, I can get on board with that.
I agree. Definitely calls back to the original gimmick from The Rock.
Yes, definitely. I already see myself painting the weapons and the bolt on his chest silver for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be a really cool detail.
Yeah, absolutely. And go for it. That's what I love about these figures. They're kind of like in many ways the Origins figures are kind of a blank slate. We can do what we want with them. I'm very nervous about painting detailed work. My hands, like I mentioned in the last episode, my hands get a little shaky. So that's why I make larger things. But I'm definitely going to have fun switching out all these parts for sure.
Oh yeah. So, and then last up in the display case, we have the single carded Space Sumo figure. And talking about being a regular release, I know that was mentioned earlier. Well, we got to stop. We actually have some YouTube royalty in the show with us tonight. I want to give a huge shout out to Mega J Retro there. So glad that you could join us tonight. Good to see you in the chat, man.
Welcome to it, Mega J. It's great to have you. Seriously, thanks for being here. And Yeah, I mean, and Oz and I both kind of talked about this. This line is still fairly new to us, even though like I encountered it once as a kid, didn't really know what it was, and Oz just recently discovered it 3 years ago. It's like this is still part of the unfortunate aspect of this is that it is so new, that this line is a reaction to Masters to increase the diversity, but the characters are so unique that kind of makes up for what we may not have regarding a nostalgic attachment to them. So man, it's good to have you, Mega J. Thank you for being here.
It really is. And for those of you who don't know, Mega J Retro runs again his own YouTube channel, and he posts usually about 2 times a week. Always great to jump in and chat with Jay. And I mean, if you guys really want to see a YouTube video with some energy, Mega J brings the energy.
Yeah, the positive energy. We love watching you like get excited about things, Mega J Retro. So keep that energy coming. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. You're doing a great job out there.
That's right. I get excited about toys I don't even want when Mega J talks about them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the unfortunate Mega J stalking you, gamer bud. Just following you around, huh? So, unfortunately, this right here, this will be Space Sumo is going to be a Mattel Creations exclusive. So I know we talked a little bit about the grown aspect of that, especially with the announcement about Grizzlor last week. But as you can see here, you've got that full art card back that they have. And I was watching Pixel Dan's video, and he confirmed that Space Sumo will be Mattel Creations exclusive unless you pre-order the Target exclusive 3-pack that we had just showed. Those are the only 2 ways Space Sumo will be available.
Yeah.
So that's more encouraging for myself to go ahead and get the 3-pack. But I mean, I don't know. I'm a sucker for that full art card back, and getting an individual mini comic. I really, really want this. And this was that original announcement picture that I was talking about.
Yeah.
With the Rulers of the Sun. And just really, really awesome, when they introduced this. And it was like, who are all of these extra guys? And then finding out about them. And now with the San Diego Comic-Con news and actually seeing that they will be bringing more of the Rulers of the Sun to the Masters universe. I mean, what it all boils down to with me, whether it's Rulers of the Sun or not, it's more figures in the Masters Universe Origins line, and I'm all for it. I think it's a great line. I love that we're going to get additional characters. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on this, Oz.
I'm certainly glad you're having fun with us, Jay.
Yeah. And Gamer Bud said, honestly, along with Jay, I didn't think much of these besides Sunman, but now thinking of all the customizing, yeah, absolutely. That's right. Yeah, there's so many possibilities with these figures. And, I spoke a little bit about the diversity aspect briefly in our last episode when I talked about how I didn't really see myself in He-Man because I had dark hair, a darker complexion. I didn't quite get the whole like blonde thing. And so Wondar, when I discovered Wondar much later on, I was like, that's so awesome. If I had seen that as a kid, that would have been amazing. And if I had seen these characters out on the shelves, I think I would have responded, because I come from an area of California where it's just the diversity outweighs everything. So there's no large group of any type of person. Everybody's different. So I would have really responded positively to these, and it's so good to have them here. Pighead looks very interesting. Yeah, we're gonna get to that Masterverse figure Mega J here in just a little bit, because that thing just like my jaw dropped when I saw him made available.
It pops.
And Pigman's origin figure looks a lot like Ganon from Legend of Zelda. Yeah, totally, absolutely.
Gamerbud, completely agree. Again, when I first saw this shot and not understanding and knowing about Rulers of the Sun, where they were from, when I saw that, I thought, oh, they're bringing Ganon in. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mega J Retro asked, not to sidetrack, but where do you keep your custom Snake Mountain? Well, that's thank you for asking. Actually, a good friend of mine. He's become a good friend of mine. He was new to me, but he reached out. I put out on Facebook to see if anybody wanted to do. I proposed a really big trade option. So Pedro Perez, who happens to live not too far away from me, he took me up on the offer. So he owns Snake Mountain now. And what he'll do is he'll send me Origins and Masterverse figures as they become available to him. That Snake Mountain took a lot of time and a lot of my own finances to create. So it's nice that it has a home. It's not just stuck in my garage with under a sheet. So it belongs, it's over there, belongs to Pedro. And on my channel, whenever a new batch of figures comes from Pedro, it's part of a series I got going on called The Big Trade. And so keep an eye out for those. But, you know, I do have a Fright Zone that I'm continuing to work on. Once our garage is freed up a little bit, I'll continue to work on that. And so there's always going to be more stuff coming from Skele Vader in that regard. But thank you for asking. And then, so that's a reaction to a previous statement. Sorry, that's a little out of, I have to look back and see what that was a reaction to. But Thanos, I'd like to see some more Sunman, maybe full-size comics or a cartoon. Absolutely, Thanos. I think that would be amazing, especially as the storylines progress for these characters, as Oz mentioned, that didn't really have any stories behind them before that we knew about. Pigman Masterverse is a must-have. We're going to get to that in just a moment, and then Thanos,
fans want the Masterverse.
yeah. So here he is. Oh, thank you, Thanos. I appreciate that. This thing, I don't know, Oz. What did you think when you saw this for the first time?
To be honest, the very first image that I saw of it, I thought, wow, way to step it up. They definitely gave it that full Masterverse feel. But I could not figure out why he was going for the whole Hollywood Hogan and Jesse the Body Ventura feather boa look. But I figured, you know, he's got a very bright color scheme. That makes sense. And then later, I couldn't find a high-res picture, really, that was a good close-up of what that is. But it looks like it's some kind of, like, translucent, like, dragon that he's kind of got going with them. And as I've already stated, you know, when they've got, like, little critters that come with the toy, I'm, like, 100% sold just for those critters. And so, like, this thing was hitting on all cylinders with me. Absolutely, really excited for this. I think the armor deco got time to bleed. That's right, got time to bleed. But yeah, and I mean the extra deco for the armor and everything that he's wearing, I think it looks great. And again, he's got that blue and that pink motif that we were just talking about with the Space Sumo comics and all. And, you know, that mixed with that bright kind of yellow green, I think it looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, when Masterverse first hit and it was all the Revelation stuff, I truly was not too interested. I was not too big of a fan overall of the look of the figures, but what really set me from it was that $20 price point, when I absolutely love the Origins figures and was all in on those, and they were like $5 cheaper. I was like,
yes.
Okay, Origins is the way to go. And I stayed away from Masterverse for the longest time. And then they introduced the new Eternia.
Yes.
figures. And so I've got the new Attorney of He-Man. I've got the new Attorney of Skeletor. New Attorney of Beastman has showed up on shelves. Haven't picked them up yet, but really, really want to. And the Zodak looks awesome.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
There's this slow little bit of me that wants to start collecting Masterverse. And I think Pigman and Sunman, because I really, really dig Sunman's wings. Like, I may have to go in on getting at least Pigman and Sunman from Masterverse.
I'm with you. I was hesitant on Masterverse figures at first, but when I saw that Spike Ore from the Revelation batch of
Oh yeah, that was
figures,
good.
I just couldn't resist. And then after that, I was like, okay. Then they released the Barbarian Skeletor and the Viking He-Man figures, and they're just so cool. I was just looking as you were speaking, Oz. I was looking through. I found the mini comic of Sunman. And I remember seeing, I don't remember, I must have seen it online, an image. Oh, maybe it's on the card back art for Sunman. There's like this, when Pigman is emerging from sort of the background, there's this sort of giant spirit serpent dragon thing that Axel Jimenez drew into it. I think that's what this translucent plastic dragon is. So I don't know, Mega J, if it's a pet or if it's like a spirit, like a demon spirit that he harnesses. So it might be magic, I think. So we'll have to find out more. I mean, really, we're all kind of discovering this stuff right now, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely want to look into more about these. Maybe I'll have to just spend a little bit more time getting information on the individual characters, if I can find it available. Because, like I said, I was, you can find the story of All Mech Toys, but trying to find the information about the individual characters is significantly harder. I like to do my homework, and just wasn't able to find much. So maybe we'll find more as time goes on. And this is that Masterverse Sunman. And again, this wasn't shown off at San Diego Comic-Con. It was shown off much earlier in the year, but we're talking about Pighead. We gotta talk about Sunman too. And just,
that's amazing.
It really, really is. I love all of his armor. I love the wings, and at first I was a little put off by his like sword, but it's grown on me. It really has. I think I like the Masterverse version of the sword better, of course, than I like the Origins version of the sword. But just like, it's hard not to get excited about a figure that looks that pretty.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. The translucent wings. I think the sword being reminiscent of an ancient weapon is very cool. It predates the sword design, I feel like, in many ways, which is cool. And and Gamer Bud always thinking creatively here. The Sunman sword needs a little gold paint on it. Yeah, I think so.
I agree. I definitely agree.
And I prefer this version. I mean, I love the Origins version of Sunman and the original version of Sunman, but I think I prefer this. He just feels like a real hero.
Right. Right. I mean, because with the Origins figure and the original figure, the creativity to attach wings, kind of like a cape, although it's very unique, it still just kind of feels like a cape on him,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I like actually seeing them more as wings with the Sunman Masterverse figure than on my Origins figure.
Yeah. Now, Gamer Bud asked, does he have his shield too? Yes, I believe he does come with his shield as well. I don't have an image of that here. That there are images out there online. I have seen the shield and it looks great. And then Jay Peregrine said, the sword reminds me more of a large flat mace. Yeah, definitely, for sure. And Timmy V said, I love the Masterverse. Yeah, we're right with you, Timmy. It took us a little while to get into it, but we're feeling it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Big Head and Sunman.
Both of them.
Oh, Gamer Bud, I don't know about you guys, but I tucked my wings on my Origins under the back of his armor. I did see that online. Was that you, Gamer Bud? What a great idea. I saw that yesterday, I believe, or the day before. Let's try that.
Yeah. Let's gotta pop
let's
the
go
head
ahead
off.
and do that now. Pop the head off. And so if you put the wings under the back of the armor here, yeah, that is so cool.
Oh wow. Oh wow, that looks really cool. I'm gonna have to do that with mine.
Yeah, it's really great. It kind of, I feel like it might over time, you see that, oh, this side, might over time kind of bend this out a little bit. But maybe if I turn it around, oh,
Maybe.
dang. If you turn it around, well, that's cool too, by the way. But both are gonna kind of stretch out that back armor. But if you're cool with that, like, I think I'm cool with it. This is kind of a great design.
I know I've mentioned it to you in previous chats on some of your live streams. Maybe if you heat up the armor with some boiling water, kind of soften that plastic and then put it on there and kind of let it dry naturally, that might relieve some of the stress that it puts on stretching out the plastic when it's like that.
That's true. That might. I love it. I could even see us like getting, I kind of like being able to see a little bit of the wings coming up a little bit, attaching it to the back somehow.
Yeah.
It is a little strange to have the wings like around his neck, but you know, that's what we love. That's what we love about the vintage designs for these things, that they were so strange. Such odd choices.
They had to find gimmicks to do these things with the characters, and you know, just finding different ways. I mean, let's overall with the flyers with Masters Universe overall. I mean, Stratos has a jetpack with little wings he clips to his arm. Buzz has the oversized, translucent kind of like techno-organic looking wings for the bee. You know, so there was never a shortage of finding new ways for characters to fly.
That's right. Absolutely. Oh, I'm really excited about this one, by the way, but we'll get to that in a moment. Anybody have any? Oh, wait, here we got or heat up the wings. So GamerBud also mentioned maybe attaching a little red ring on the back. Yes. Or heat up the wings and bend them around the back so they kind of lay like cloak wings. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that would be kind of neat. Yeah.
Again, the creative aspect of the Origins figures is just awesome. Like, I don't see myself, I love this Masterverse Sunman. I don't see myself making many changes or feeling like I can be creative with it. But that's a compliment to its artistry, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I could see you getting away with putting King T's head on possibly Sunman there, because King T is quite possibly the greatest custom figure of all time.
And it was really just a matter of switching heads.
Yep.
Guys, King T, the true ruler of the universe, King T here.
Pity the fool not watching Toy Frenzy.
That's right. That's right. So if any of you got that WWE Origins Mr. T and you have the King Grayskull, you can just switch the heads. Yes.
There's a secondary chance. I actually just saw it today. The WWE Superstars line.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
They will be releasing a Mr. T figure. Now, of course, that Mr. T won't be themed out with the awesome gimmicks that they gave the WWE Eternia version of him, but I love the new King Grayskull.
Yeah, we love the new King Grayskull too. King T.
King T. King T. I pity the fool.
Yeah, I saw an ad for that, or not an ad, but I saw an image of the Mr. T that's going to be more the same scale as the Masterverse figures, right? So,
Well, not Masterverse,
heck.
but Origins. The WWE Superstars
Oh,
line is
that's right. Yes, that's
also
right.
put out by Mattel, and it's for a brief while, and maybe we can do this in another episode. We can go over the Masters of the WWE universe.
Mm-hmm.
But they've released Superstars now where they've canceled the Masters of the WWE universe line, and now they're doing Superstars, which are all compatible. They have all the same swapping limbs and parts that your Origins figures have, and they come with some really, really cool soft goods accessories that are nice. I know I got the Bray Wyatt figure just for the trench coat and the Mad Hatter top hat. I wanted to put them on my Scareglow figure to see how well they looked, and that's great. And although I do not have the Fiend mini comic, because I don't have the Fiend for the WWE Masters of the WWE Universe line, the Fiend mini comic showed Bray Wyatt, but he was dressed up as Prince Adam, and then he switches and becomes the Fiend. So since I got a spare Sky Sled, I have a spare Prince Adam, and Bray Wyatt's head now sits upon that. So I have the WWE Eternia Bray Wyatt. I just don't have the Fiend yet. Still looking for it.
That's awesome. They were I feel like they were everywhere for a while, all except for the Mr. T figure, and I found them once at a Walmart, and then he was no longer, I never saw him anywhere.
Well, I'll chalk that luck up to you being on the West Coast. I know for me here in Baltimore, every single one that came out, I bought or was able to get. It was Stephanie McMahon, Goldberg, a Horde, the NWO Horde style, Randy Savage, and Becky Lynch. And it was those four. And then fortunately was able to get a Kane online. But yeah, was not able to find any other ones. And it's a shame because I really, really wanted that Andre the Giant that they come out with. I thought it was great how they figured out how to kind of scale him up and yet still keep him in the same size packaging as the rest of the line.
Very cool. So cool.
Or WWE Mysterio for the Stratos. Yes. Yeah. I agree with you there, Gamer Bud, reading that about the two different Mysterios.
We did get a not mini comic looking mini comic Stratos. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's hilarious, Gamer Bud. I missed. This is one of my regrets with the Origins line. No, I have two regrets from the Origins line. I never got a Zodak when it came out, and I saw him on the shelf. I don't know why I avoided it. I don't know why. And I never got the gray Stratos when it was on the shelf. I saw him there too. I don't know why I avoided it.
Yeah.
And Mega J, Walmart stopped carrying the MOTWD WWE line there too as well. Yeah, it's. I think it's, as Oz said, I think it's over. Right, they're moving into the Superstars.
Yeah, the last wave of that was the China, Stone Cold, and I'm forgetting who else the third character, but it was the first wave that only had 3 figures in it.
Yeah.
And the one that had Andre the Giant and Sergeant Slaughter, that was the second to last wave. So after those 2 waves, they stopped producing it. And Mega J, I know you're up in Canada, and I gotta say, you guys are lucky though, because I've seen over the year posted over the last couple of years posted in a lot of the different He-Man groups. It really seems like you guys have had better luck with stock. At least than I have here in Maryland. Like I say, I'm surrounded by like Walmarts and Targets all over the place, and you really just cannot find any of the stuff. And even using their online apps and everything, I find more from third-party sellers than I do from the company itself on their app.
It's pretty depressing walking into the stores lately. I'm hoping that changes soon.
Sure.
Let's see. But both WWE Mysterios have the mini comic Stratos neck feather armor painted on the figure, but we get weird naked Stratos in his old wrong colored armor. Yeah, I know, right? There's all these oddities. Now I have a theory, and I could be wrong. It could just be that Mattel's not thinking of these things, but I feel like they're purposefully, maybe not purposefully, but I feel like someone in the design team is thinking like nothing was perfect back in the day. So these new figures have to have something slightly off. If they don't have something slightly off, then it'll just be another version of the figure. So we've got to show that there's mistakes that can be made, or that there will be variants, and the variants won't be perfect, and so I feel like there is I imagine the insane optimist in me is imagining that the design team is like, okay, so what are we going to mess up this time, folks? Because we've got to get the fans or the people out there that are collecting to have dialogue about this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Mega J Retro Mattel distribution is horrendous. I know, they need to figure it out. I agree.
Well, overall, I will say, again, with a background in retail and having worked as an unloader at Walmart specifically, after Walmart gets their hands on it, I can't speak anything about Target because I don't know how their unloading processes and stuff go. But look, Mattel ships them to Walmart. Walmart gets them from their distribution centers to the stores. It's not like a Mattel truck shows up at Walmart. This is shipped to a Walmart distribution center where then they distribute it out to the stores. And yeah, once it's out of, Mattel's shipping containers over here, and once it gets into Walmart, it's not so much Mattel's fault. Now, I will say, I do know that they have Mattel reps, and I don't understand why the reps aren't exactly going around viewing sections. I mean, it's been a few years, and I've been out of the retail game for a while, so maybe I'm misinformed at this point. Maybe there's different ways of doing it. But, used to have representatives that would show up into the store, check these sections, make sure that they were set to planogram, make sure that certain products were represented, and it just doesn't seem like that's happening. Now, I understood during COVID why that may not be happening, but,
Right.
things have mostly got back to normal here. So I'm not sure what's happening, but they've really got to get somebody out there checking on these things and realizing that, look, we do not need Stratos and Jitsu. Everybody at this point wants him, has got him. We need to start rotating those shelves and getting these newer waves on, because I have not seen any of Wave 8 or 9 anywhere near here. And I'm getting antsy. It's been almost a year since I've seen anything new hit the shelves since January.
Yeah, I agree. I like what Mega J said in response to Gamer Bud. Do it fast and do it cheap and wrong. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing so much of that. But I mean, honestly, folks, I mean, isn't this how it's always been? Like when we had like constant availability, when even in the 80s, I remember it not being that way. I remember I never found a He-Man and a Skeletor. They were never available.
They sell those alternate versions, and that's supposed to replace whatever the current version of He-Man or Skeletor is on the shelf. I noticed early on that in the planogram sections, when I'm looking at the peg hooks, and all I could find was He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah.
He-Man and Skeletor had their own pegs with their own SKUs.
Yeah.
And then there was one other peg that was listed Masters Universe Origins Assorted.
Assorted, yeah.
And that was it.
And it's He-Man, Skeletor, and other.
Yeah. Yeah. And that peg was always empty.
Yeah. Yes, always. Now it's just other.
Yeah. Now it's just other. It doesn't, 2000X He-Man, 2000X Skeletor. They're other. The even the retro head He-Man and Skeletor. They're all just other now.
I never saw them in the on the shelves. I got mine through Amazon at great prices, by the way, but I never saw them on the shelves. Never saw them on the shelves.
Never got one at all. Got a couple of the He-Man and Skeletor toys on clearance, and then got some Battle Armor He-Man and Battle Armor Skeletor, and did some head swapping.
Yeah, that's good. That works, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of a variety of characters, we've got this Masterverse reveal for the Revelation Sorceress Evelyn, which I just was really excited about. This is my favorite part of the Revelation series, actually. This costume design for Evelyn, just awesome.
I thought it was amazing. As a matter of fact, I believe I heard the Mattel representative call this one specifically Skele Sorceress Evelyn.
Yes, I did hear that. And I was like, I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah. This is Gamer Bud. Sorry, a little bit behind here. Gamer Bud talking about, he's having a hard time finding figures as well.
Sure,
yeah, so... Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's pretty much kind of the same thing here too.
I can't find web store for a good price to save your life. Gamer Bud, I'm just reading this here. They need to re-put Wave 6. It was okay. Are you saying that you were not able to find Stinkor or Green Goddess or web store? Because I just sent Oz an image. I did run across a store. Gamer Bud, if you want to. My email address is down below this video. If you want to email me, if you're looking for Stinkor or Green Goddess, I think if I go over there and see if they're still there, I think I might be able to pick them up for you at normal Walmart price, so 16 something. Web store I have not seen in a while, but I'd be willing to help you out with that if that's something you want to do, Gamer Bud.
So yeah, I mean. Again, with the Revelations figures, those first couple of Masterverse Revelations, like the Evelyn that came out was great. It had the good callbacks. See, everybody likes this version of Evelyn. And
She's awesome.
I'm a little sad we didn't get more of her within the show.
Yes, I agree.
Really, I love the new costume. I think it's outstanding. I love that fur, then with like the bat wing cape, and it kind of plays up to Skeletor's little bat emblem that he has.
Yeah,
his armor. It was a great new look for a new sorceress style at Castle Grayskull. The figure does not disappoint in any way on that.
Yeah, it's very cool. I feel the same way. We didn't get enough of her in the show, and in fact, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Sure.
I thought this was an interesting design for when she gets the power of Grayskull, but I feel like I didn't quite, Skeletor, when he got the power, he became the Skele God, and he was still very much Skeletor, even though he had like the green flames around his neck and the elaborate armor. But I feel like the choice to use gold here was like a little bit of a mistake for Evelyn. I feel like they could have done a little bit more of like an exaggerated version of this for that, but I'm nitpicking now.
Maybe if they added a little bit more, maybe purple and blue accents on the I realize the gold is probably coming from the idea that she is now not only the sorceress of Grayskull, but the champion as well, as she has called down the power for herself.
Yes. That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm thinking that's why they went with these gold motifs. But, with that being said, I did not work on the show at all, and I have no idea what the art designers were really thinking. If they like my idea, go ahead and give me credit for it. You owe me like $5,000.
I think you're onto something, though. I think that the symbolism of gold here makes more sense. So this is why dialogue, folks, is really good, because we might have these ideas about what we don't like or what we do like, but if we don't talk about them in a reasonable way, then we'll just forever not understand why we don't like something, or just stick to that one idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
But to give credit again to like what you were saying, when that see, I was about to say Thanos, because Thanos copter popped up, and I gotta love that.
Oh yeah.
But when Skeletor called down the power, though, he like you said, he was still very much Skeletor when he was Skelegod. You know, there
Yes,
wasn't a lot
exactly.
of change in his color aesthetic.
Yes.
I mean, he certainly got more muscular, and you know, they went all in on the ram horns for his head and everything.
So cool.
Oh, I loved it. You know, at first I didn't really like it, but it definitely grew on me when I saw the execution of it within the show. Because when I first saw the toy, I was like, "Oh my god, he definitely hit roids in the '80s." There.
Yeah. I think that was the critique of the Evelyn sorceress character too. But you know, you're gonna get the power, you're gonna get the muscle. You know, that's just
right.
how it works.
That's right. That's all part of it. You know, Sorceress Evelyn did not get all the extra muscles. It wasn't until she called down the power she got them. So I will accept that. Although I really, really wish I could just, you know, put my hand up in the air and say I have the power and get a magic 6-pack. That would be great, because I'm a little tired of carrying a keg.
So GamerBud says, of all the figures in the Revelation series that came with a sword of power, Godlin doesn't have one. Yeah, well, she might. I bet she'll come with one. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We have so many extra power swords from the Masterverse line so far. So definitely.
I gotta say, I do appreciate that at least Fake Wars came with the orange guard.
Yes. Yes,
kind of wish they maybe had done that for a couple of the other ones.
Yeah.
You know, just cause, you know.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit, right?
That's right. Just give us some other color variations is great. Now, speaking of the power sword and all, I love that Roboto. I mean, you can see in the image that he does have some extra hands down there at the bottom, which is always important to the Roboto character. But I love that they gave him the King Grayskull 2 halves of the power sword, and then they've done this translucent orange to show that they are being heated up, so that they can then be reforged together.
Does it look to you like, I'm just getting the one half of the sword here from King T. Does it look to you like the handles look a little more gloopy, like melty in that version than this? Or do you think that they're just, because it almost looks like they're a little more gloopy. It could just be the angle.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Look at this part on the screen there of the one in Roboto's. What would it be? His left arm. It looks a little bit drippy there. The bottom part of the hilt.
Yeah, the pommel. Yeah, it certainly does. It looks like it could be that way. It could be the angle, though. It could, you know, it's not the highest res picture. But I'm excited to see them when they come out. I think it's really cool. I'm glad that they did that. Now I gotta say, when it comes to the 2 halves of the power sword, when they did the exclusive Scare Glow for Masterverse, and the 2 half sword thing that he came with, after they released the King Grayskull figure, and then again seeing this version here, it's really kind of disappointing looking at that Scare Glow version with the 2 halves, and then how the single handle they both fit into, but they're like the 2 different colors. I don't know, maybe the design team didn't have all of it yet, but that just seems rather disappointing when I can see such beauty as these.
I agree.
the finished ones, they came with King Grayskull, and these ones, they just look really, really cool.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And
Gamer Bud makes a good point here. Where is his fancy poncho? I agree. He should. This Roboto should come with the poncho that sort of hides that he's Roboto. Yeah.
yeah, that would be really cool. I think so. Roboto was always kind of a favorite of mine as a kid,
Yes.
and seeing
Mine
this
too.
Masterverse version of him, overall, again, I enjoyed Revelations, the show. I enjoyed the animation of the show. I didn't mind the designs of the characters in the show. Toy execution wise, I seem a little less impressed overall. Now, that's not to say all of them aren't impressing me. Overall, the Scareglow figure I thought was phenomenal. Little disappointed he's not glow in the dark plastic all over, but you know, I still thought he looked great. I even like the Revelation Skeletor. I thought he looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Revelations Roboto looks good. I'm not wowed
Yeah.
by it. I'm more wowed by the swords than Roboto himself.
Yeah.
And I've said with, between Masterverse and between Origins, there's some figures you almost want to buy just for the accessories they come with so that you can put them with other figures.
That's true. That's true. I'm kind of hoping that he looks better in real life. This is one of those figures that we see the low res images. We're like, okay. But I feel like, okay. And then my other big, this figure is a little underwhelming for me too. I love Roboto. He was one of my favorite figures as a kid. But the one thing that we want from a Roboto is the action feature or the mechanism. And I feel like that they've already sort of mentioned at San Diego Comic-Con that his jaw is articulated, but they did not say anything about the mechanisms inside of his chest moving. So I'm hoping that I like what Gamer Bud says here. Put LEDs in his chest. I think that'll really
that would be
add.
interesting. That would be really cool.
And then let's see. Gamer Bud also said make the destroyed Roboto and a version 2 of Man at Arms and tie it to his back. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Yes, I love that.
Okay, I'd be down for that. That'd be really cool.
That's fantastic. And then version 2 is Man at Arms with the cloak, hand cannon, missing armor with long hair. Yeah, totally.
Sure.
Totally.
Yeah. So here we have. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Manny Faces. I have to say, I kind of got excited about this character, especially that we can switch out the faces.
Yes, I really did too. I mean, he's missing the fun of, pushing the lever on the top of the head, giving it the twist, and making it spin. But overall, being able to just swap out the faces, the fact that they come in this neat little compact carrier thing. And I mean, as you see, we have his usual monster face in there. And then they've got kind of like this alternate bad guy Manny's face in there. And then again, he even leads back to the fact that, Manny Faces is an actor. And, he's got kind of this actor face with the little pointy mustache. I guess it kind of looks like Keldor, maybe, but overall,
little bit.
Overall, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Mega J says favorite Motu Master. He's one of my favorite heroes as well. So Mega J is pointing out something that I wanted to mention. I freaked out when I learned his faces will still spin. I agree. Because I thought, okay, we're just going to take the helmet off and then we switch the faces. But then I counted the faces that we have here and we're missing one. We're missing the robot face. So that must mean that the head must spin, and we probably have 6 options. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the robot face is there, we have another option too. And because we have the beast here, and I think that this definitely could be sort of a nod to Keldor, Mega J, that face that Oz just pointed out for sure.
Yeah, I gotta say, he's got that blue gar, he's got the mustache. It's looking like
looks like Keldor.
Yeah.
And I hope that I doubt that Shatner is going to be playing Hordak. That's what everyone's saying. And at first I thought that that's who he was playing, but the more I thought about it too, Shatner is such a actor that it would make sense for him to be Manny Faces. And Gamer Bud, we don't know. I don't think that it's been announced yet whether it's Revelation or New Eternia. So this very well could be Revelation, and that very well could be Shatner.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing or hearing it said anywhere whether this one is New Eternia or Revolutions, but either way, I'm excited for it because it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I love this guy. So Mega J says that Shatner, I'm just assuming here, Mega J, but it seems like you're saying Mega J will be Horde Prime. I mean, Mega J, that Shatner will be Horde Prime. It'd be great, Mega J, if you played Horde Prime. But yeah, I think
I've heard Mega J's, Cobra Commander impressions and such through his channel. I mean, he's got some voice acting chops. We need to get Jay as a character in one of these Motu shows.
I agree. Come on. And I actually think that a lot of the folks that have been doing toy reviews and speaking to the fans about this particular IP, YouTube personalities like Mega J should have an opportunity to have cameos in these shows because they've spent so much time dedicating their lives and their personal time to educating the masses. So yeah,
that's right.
Give them a little bit of spot. Shatner's melodrama could totally be Ancient Horde Prime. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I feel like Mega J's theorizing here. So yeah.
Well, like Gamer Bud here throws up Zodak as an option, and I mean, it doesn't get much more cosmic and space age than Kirk. So
yeah, that's so true. Although Granomir is a really profound option here. I didn't even think of that. That's almost more perfect than because Shatner's been around. He's like the wise sage. Zodak or Granomir would be perfect for that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many options. It'd be great.
He's doing Gwildor.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about that, Mega J, but that's pretty funny.
Well, whenever I watch Mega J's channel and we're in the streams and Gwildor pops up in the chat, I love it because I know Mega J is coming up with the Gwildor voice.
That's great.
I love it.
All right, Nat, and we also have a master, as you all know. Some of you even probably put in your order on Target.com for the Hero Masterverse figure. New Adventures He-Man. God, I always get those two mixed up. New Adventures He-Man. So yeah, there's this guy available too. Oh, he hasn't shown up yet on Target. It was Hero that showed up on Target, right?
No, actually, I believe he showed up during San Diego Comic-Con, available for pre-order, if I remember. Yeah, Granomir for sure, Mega J. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll wait and find out. It'd be great. I'd love to give Granomir some more love because he wasn't in that many episodes of the original cartoon, and he was in like 2 mini comics. So
yeah,
it'd be great. But yes, New Adventures here. I mean, all things said and done, New Adventures when I was a kid did not hold me. It really didn't.
I'm with you on that. I know we talked about, did we talk about it? Like, it was like, I saw those, we're older than Gamer Bud maybe, but when I saw the New Adventures figures on the shelf, I was like walking right by them. I was not interested at all. And I was a huge He-Man fan, even like just thinking about, the old figures in the old show, old by 90s standards. But when those figures popped up on the shelves in the early 90s, I just thought I'm not, this is not cool. This is not awesome. But now that I'm older and I appreciate the complexities of those characters and the oddball, just the oddball weirdo baddies, I love them now. Slushhead is one of my favorite figures of all time.
Okay.
And so
Always
that's my perspective.
Optic was really,
Oh,
really
yes. Optic.
I got to agree. And you notice again, we're both saying villains from the New Adventures line, because the villains just always get the better toys.
Yeah.
I myself had the Power Punch He-Man. He had the weird like slash in his chest that kind of spun
Yes.
the punch action. He didn't even get the cool lightsaber-esque power sword. He had this other really weird looking shield. And I just remember having that version of the New Adventures He-Man. And then I had the throwing disc Skeletor.
Yeah.
So again, when I first started watching the first couple episodes of New Adventures of He-Man, my toys that were the representation of this new He-Man were way off from what they were showing in the cartoon. And I was like, well, now mind you, later on, they did kind of update Skeletor's look to do that armor with the weird mask thing throughout the show. But by that point in time, I'd already stopped watching it. Also, just the difference, the figure being, He-Man was this very big, robust, kind of barbarian-esque toy. And now, all of a sudden, all of my looking at these new He-Man guys, they were all kind of wimpy and puny. So I just wasn't feeling it the same. Now, a friend of mine, he had a lot of these New Adventure stuff. The play sets were really cool. Some of the vehicles were really awesome. But I just felt like it had lost touch with the He-Man roots, and now that I am older, I definitely have a lot more respect. I understand Mattel was trying something different to revive the line, and unfortunately it just wasn't, I guess, the right direction. And I will say the redesign on this version of the Power Sword, because also when I was very young, I was a big Star Wars fan, and my favorite lightsaber was Luke's from Return of the Jedi with that green blade.
Yes. Yeah.
Green, yellow, translucent plastic Power Sword. I was like, oh, he's got Luke's lightsaber. This is awesome. And
just another moment when Masters just totally lifts something from Star Wars and puts it into their show. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm with you on that. You gotta love that sword. I love this character. I love the weird armor that he comes with. This version of He-Man's awesome. I like that Thanos here is saying, I still want the Starship Eternia and the Nordor playsets. Yeah, those are so cool.
They were.
Gamerbud says, I had the Flog figure and loved him.
Right.
Flog is another one of my favorites. That guy's awesome. I have an Optic. I have a Slush Head. I need to get a vintage Flog for sure.
He's got to be tough to find now, too, because, again, he was one of those fan favorite kind of characters.
Yeah, definitely. And back to our previous conversation, Mega J chimed in with Wildor Billy Barty's finest moment. Yeah, absolutely. Or Dwarven High Wizard Aldwin, absolutely.
Very
and
cool.
He says, I can channel a pretty good Gwildor.
You do. You do an excellent job.
Gamerbud says, I think Skeletor in Revolution is going to look a little like he looked in New Adventures with the tech.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's one of my, I have very few classics figures, but I do have that New Adventures Skeletor, Space Mutants, classics Skeletor, and he's one of my favorites. I absolutely love that design, especially what classics did with it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love the storyline behind that too, because I remember when like Laser Light Skeletor came out at the very end of the original, Masters of the Universe line, like Laser Light He-Man just looked like he decked out some new cool armor kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that design kind of went into how he looks in New Adventures.
Yeah.
Laser Light Skeletor, he had like this whole techno-organic thing that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then that carried on again into the New Adventures.
Yes.
So I do like how they did explain that in the comics. Like he got into this battle with He-Man and he was banged up even more than he, like he couldn't quite repair, heal himself. And then he ended up having cybernetic enhancements. I thought that was kind of a neat story to add to it, a little RoboCop-esque story on why he had this big change in design. But I got to tell you, they never really quite explained how He-Man looks like. He lost about 50 pounds of muscle. Maybe he changed his diet, went vegetarian. He was getting less protein, so he's got the more lean muscle. It was good to see that he started remembering leg day, or at least maybe swimming. So he's got this more full body muscle. But overall, this figure looks amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really great figure. I always felt like not to go back to Skeletor, but I feel like the Skeletor from New Adventures is genuinely a Skele Vader.
Okay, yeah. No, I could see that.
I like what Gamer Bud says here, and I would not be mad if Revolution ended with an intro into New Adventures, with him going back in time, or with like the season ending with him going back to his time and becoming He-Man and settling down with Teela. Yeah, I could get on board with that. All those ideas.
That'd be kind of neat. I know Kevin Smith gets a lot of hate for what he did with Revelations, but I've really got to say I enjoyed all of it. Part 1, Part 2 of Revelations. I really enjoyed the overall story of it. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table moving forward. He clearly already has some sort of a plan, so I want to see how he executes it from here.
Yeah, I understand people's complaints with Revelation, but I honestly feel like, well, Revelation is really one of the it's more than the Filmation cartoon. Revelation is more like what I was doing with my action figures as a kid. Creating alternate scenarios where who knows what could happen. The shit's gonna hit the fan, excuse my language, but like who knows what can happen with these characters. And so it felt more like that. Now, with that being said, of course, we can't control what the imagination of our friend is going to come up with. And that would always happen to me when I would play with friends. They'd be like, no, Skeletor loves to read books. And I'd be like, well, okay, but I thought that was, and so, we might have this like weird, different take on what characters are supposed to do. So the people who got mad, just remember, it's just another person's imagination.
That's right.
We've got to just be happy we get to see these characters on the screen again.
That's right. We've got more Masters of the Universe going on in the last several years than we've ever really had before. We talked about it last week, and again this week we've got multiple shows, multiple toy lines, new projects coming.
Yeah,
it's a great time to be a Masters fan. So let's really enjoy it while we have it, because you never know. 1987 might be around the corner, and it's all about to come crumbling down. We don't know.
Exactly. So, we don't know. Enjoy it while you have it, folks.
That's right.
And
let's enjoy it while it's here.
Yes. And this is one of my favorite characters ever, Shadow Weaver, and to see her in the Masterverse line is awesome. Gamer Bud's idea here, or do the opposite and Hordak is defeated and Skeletor finds a way to travel back in time to King Grayskull's time and resurrects Snake Man. That's definitely, I could see that definitely happening.
It would be cool.
And Thanos Copter, I just wish Revelation had taken more of a cue from Filmation's backgrounds. Love the crazy environments of the old cartoon. Absolutely. The backgrounds, I feel like the backgrounds in Revelation threw me off first. That was the first thing that was slightly disappointing to me. It felt too little too real. As you can see, like from my abstract painting behind me, the backgrounds in the cartoon were so outlandish and so brightly colored and so weird that they really inspired me in so many ways. So when I saw that it was just a little bit more of a like normal fantastic environment,
Yeah,
normal in quotes, I was like, eh.
the Eternia of Revelations was definitely more like the Eternia of the 2000X Mike Young production
Yes,
version.
absolutely.
It definitely
Absolutely.
seemed more real, less alien-esque. That
Yes,
Eternia seemed alien as a kid, you know.
very much so. And in
Um,
fact, some of the architectural designs were very, you could see, especially the interior of Snake Mountain in some scenes in the old Filmation cartoon was certainly influenced by H.R. Geiger, the guy who designed
yeah,
the alien creatures and the alien interiors for the on the other planet.
yeah.
So I wanted to see more of that, but
Well,
maybe in
who
the
knows?
next one. Who
You
knows?
know,
Yeah.
we might see a little bit more with the Horde, with Motherboard, and the whole techno cult just being like a new version of the Horde.
Yes.
Which, you know, I guess we really should have seen that kind of all along, being their color scheme, that red and the black. Now that I think back on it, like we really
Yeah.
should have seen that coming a little bit more.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Yeah, we want to see more King Grayskull or more King T.
Yeah, let's see some King T out there.
Let's
That's
see
what I'm
some
talking.
King T.
Matter of
And
fact,
Mega J.
Mr. T doing a voice in the in Revolutions, it's going to be King T.
Oh, they should have Mr. T do a voice.
That'd be great. So to get back to more on track with what we're doing with the figures here in Masterverse, um, you know, last week we showed off, and it was a lot of news just strictly about He-Man. With Masterverse, we're getting again the whole Princesses of Power more. Um,
Hmm.
love Shadow Weaver again, absolute favorite character. You know, she was definitely seen more in the Princess of Power. And I agree with you there, Vega J. Definitely hard to beat that version of Shadow Weaver. I still look at that toy and all, but this is really close to that.
Yes. I want to point out something that they mentioned that might take the Masterverse Shadow Weaver into a whole new category that Classics wasn't able to do, and that is that apparently her legs underneath her dress, that dress is flexible. It's going to be a soft rubber. She's apparently going to be articulated underneath there, which I think I tried to listen. It was during Comic-Con. The recording was kind of rough, but I'm pretty confident that they said that because it stuck out in my mind as being a remarkable sort of advance for this character because she needs to be able to like move. So yeah, this
Right.
is cool.
I kind of wish we could almost get transcripts of what they were saying. I know Pixel Dan recorded the panel, and so we could see a lot. It was definitely difficult to hear. All I kept hearing was Hasbro's Star Wars sound effects in the background.
Yes, I know. It's so loud.
It was so difficult to hear what the different guys were saying. But that's a good pickup because one of the things I like about Masterverse is all of the articulation that you get. It's really decent articulation. And
they can't say 30 points articulation on this character unless her legs have knee and feet articulation and we're able to move it underneath that dress of hers. And I think they're going to go with it.
They could cram it all into the arms and torso. It'd just be really awkward to hold, though.
Yeah.
So definitely hope they get it under there. Or it'd be neat even if, like, because, you know, it almost looks like her little Horde belt. If they could do some kind of maybe swappable.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Kind of
There you go.
I think that would be kind of neat. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. You know, the soft rubber's good, but it always does have a tendency to limit how much you can truly articulate that. I know I was watching Geek Dad Life earlier this week, and he was doing his review of the Super 7 bat, and with that, just seeing the limitations on the articulation of the one leg due to the holster, because I had that little bit of that soft rubbery plastic, like you could still move it, but you didn't get a whole lot out of it. So that always kind of annoys me overall in the design, where it's like you see they put the articulation there, but then they limit the movement of it by putting a restricting accessory or something with it. But overall, the design looks great. I love the staff. I love the little blast effect for the hand. Probably going to get some kind of separate hands with it, because Masterverse is pretty good about putting some extra hands in there. Not as much as Super 7 does, but overall, Shadow Weaver looks outstanding. And that would definitely be one of those Masterverse figures I want to get my hands on.
So me too. And Mega J is saying my problem with the soft goods right now is the sheen. It's way too thin. I think I'm hoping that that's something that they'll change, because the sheen on this cape, or the thickness of this particular cape, I can see through it, but I feel like this is better quality than what we're looking at in this image. So I'm hoping that we get something a little bit better there. And we've got quite a few comments here. We've got, let's see.
That is popping tonight.
Yeah, Gamer Bud is basically writing season 2 of, or writing the Revolution season. I'm still holding out that Revolution, we get Hordak, and not actually Hordak, but it's Despara under Shadow Weaver's control, and killed Hordak and took his place. Yep, I'm right there too. And then that would lead us to He-Man and She-Ra teaming up after she's freed from her control. I think that would be amazing. I really do.
That would be cool. I'd really like to see if maybe they can get She-Ra involved in either of the new season, new shows either way. But I know there's some licensing rights going on there. Netflix has all this animated He-Man. They're working on a live action He-Man, but Amazon Prime is doing that live action She-Ra. So I'm not sure what's happening with the rights there as far as She-Ra within the media, because clearly Netflix put out an animated series of her a couple years back. So I guess we'll see.
And Gamer Bud chiming in with getting She-Ra as a bait and switch. Maybe in the show, but also in the toy lines. I'm hoping not in the toy lines. I'm hoping that we get more She-Ra. We are getting Frosta here, so that's amazing, and hoping that that means we're going to be getting more of these.
Right. I mean, again, earlier in the year, they showed off Catra. They showed off Frosta. Seeing the toy here, I think it's great. I love that they are incorporating the Princess of Power line into Masterverse, that it's coming. I want to see more of it in Origins. I think it's great that we have She-Ra. We've got
we need more.
I'm sorry, I like having a very diverse universe and play set, everything. I want to see more of the She-Ra line done within Origins. So I'm hoping now that we are seeing more in Masterverse, maybe we'll get some more within Origins.
I actually find it a little strange that we haven't gotten more She-Ra characters in Origins, and we're seeing more of them showing up in Masterverse. We've gotten most of the Horde through Origins, but none of the ladies. So it would be great to have an Origins Shadow Weaver, an Origins Frosta, an Origins Catra. Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, come on now. We need another large cat, and getting names on the tip of the tongue now, and I can't think of it, but Catra's mount from the toys back in the day, the lion, the pink.
Why can't I remember? Lion. The pink lion. Why can't I remember either?
I want to see some more of that out there. I really, really would like to see more of that line within Origins. Give us some more females. It's there's so many different characters. It's really going to flesh out the line, and they've really gone through just about almost everybody they can do with some of the standard bucks from Masters of the Universe now. That's why we're seeing the more varied figures moving forward with the Snake Men, a lot of the more tooled pieces. But again, a lot of the female characters used very similar same bucks. So it would be neat that, if we could see more of them in there, it would help flesh out the line and prolong the longevity of it. Incorporate it now. Don't repeat the same mistakes of the past. Shira came in at the end, and then, the line kind of started dying out, and it would be cool if they ran more together.
Yes, I agree. Frosta looks great. I think people have complained about her hair a little bit, not being white enough. But I think this looks really cool. I kind of, does it look to you like the hair might be a little bit translucent, or is that just the way the paint is on there?
It's really hard to tell from the lighting in the picture. It looks like there might be some translucence. It definitely goes from dark to lighter as it goes down, which I like.
It's a reaction to what's popular right now with people dyeing their hair, doing that. So I can see why that would happen.
I think it looks great overall. For Masterverse, it seems a little lacking on the accessory side.
Yeah, a little bit. I wish I could find a better term, but a little bit basic here.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to go. They're turning Frosta into a basic B. Which is anything but. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that I like what's going on here. I'll probably want to get this character anyways, but I feel like there is something. I feel like there's something missing, and I can't quite put my finger on it yet. But it's a cool design.
Duchess of Darkness pulling out the info here. I can see in the chat if you want to bring it up.
Good. Yes.
Claudine was the name.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Duchess.
Very, very. Thank you for bringing that up. That was definitely the name of the pink lion, and she had that silverish mane, and you could brush it, and really sounded like I was a hairdresser when I was younger.
But if you played with toys, you were always kind of helping them, live a normal life. So we experimented with all that stuff.
I mean, I had an older sister. She collected the She-Ra toys. I had all the He-Man toys. So I had a lot of experience where I probably wouldn't have had those figures on my own otherwise. But I definitely used to enjoy bringing her characters in, as I did watch both cartoons when I was that young.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I had no problem watching the She-Ra show. And
it was great.
And in fact, so many of those episodes were, I felt like they were a little bit more advanced in their storytelling than the He-Man show. So I got really engaged. Even if I was at first like, I don't want to watch She-Ra. I just you get involved in those episodes are really good.
Yeah. Those toy lines were really good.
Gamer Bud says, of the Princess of Power figures, this one I'll wait for the sale. Oh, for on sale, Frosta, I'm assuming. But I hope they do more of the heroes and villains at this line. Yeah, we're right there with you, Gamer Bud. Yeah,
I gotta agree. There's a lot of figures, and if you want to try to get them all, some of them you kind of gotta wait for the sales. You gotta wait for the clearance. As much as I hate to see any of them go on clearance, I'm not going to shy away from a deal. So,
one thing we're learning, especially with the Rise of Evil 2-pack, that for our fear is that something will not be available. But sometimes it becomes so available that it goes on sale. Either way, it's a gamble. So we've got to decide, what are we going to gamble? I'm that way. I gambled on Zodak and I gambled on Gray Stratos, and I lost that gamble. So that's going to happen, and we've got to just be okay with it. Wait to see what goes on sale, and then get what you can get.
I agree. Definitely gambled on the 40th anniversary 2-pack.
Oh yeah. There's so many.
Totally regretting that decision now, as I've watched review after review.
Oh my gosh.
And oh man, I'm sorry I'm missing that one. But overall, still got the single carded 40th anniversary He-Man. Really holding out and hoping for a 40th anniversary Skeletor single card. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Unique packaging, but just having the two figures will be cool. It'll be interesting to see too. Skele Vader, I know you have your 40th anniversary 2-pack coming. If maybe we do a little comparison between regular retail release versus San Diego Comic-Con pack, I think that'd be kind of neat.
Absolutely. We'll definitely do that. And I feel like I was really lucky to be able to get on board for that 40th anniversary 2-pack. Now, especially after watching the reviews. And I just, if we just don't have the money, and if I could get, if I could have gotten two or snuck a way to get more, like I totally would, and find a way to share them with the world. It's a struggle, man. It is a struggle. Mito showed up out of nowhere. Welcome, Mito. And Mito says, Mito. Burr. I think Burr is in reaction to Frosta, and we're, I totally get it.
I hope so.
I know, me too. And Gamer Bud says, oh, don't remind me, I passed on the Masterverse 2-pack. Now I can't get that Skeletor. Folks, I feel they're going to put out that Skeletor. I feel like if they're putting out the He-Man, they've got to put out the Skeletor. And also, one of my predictions for maybe later in the year, maybe early 2023, I feel like they're going to announce 40th anniversary Merman and Beastman as well.
That would be.
I feel like that's got to be in their cards. They're smart. They know what they're doing. So I see that Skeletor's got to become available. And he's probably going to have, my prediction also is, because in the reviews that we've seen online of the 40th anniversary 2-pack with the loose jaw, they'll probably fix that for the retail release of the articulated jaw.
I watched Mad Hatter's review. I think it was either earlier today or yesterday. His jaw was tight. He's the first one I've seen who's been able to close the jaw and it stays shut. So
I'm hoping that happens for mine.
Me too, man. Me too. So
make it
customizing.
Customize this sorceress. We haven't even talked about the sorcerers. We got cut up at the 40th anniversary. Right. Mega J, I saw your video and it seemed like the jaw was loose on your Skeletor too. So I'm sorry to see that, but I'm hoping that there's some variations out there. Switching back to what we're looking at on the screen, this sorceress is pretty awesome. What do you think, Oz?
Absolutely, I love it. It's definitely got everything you could look at for a sorceress. We are talking here. We have paint deco of the Filmation series overall. Her look is kind of, I almost want to say more like almost an amalgamation of just about every version of the sorceress.
Yes.
She's got little bits of Filmation in here. She's got little bits of, 2000X. She's got little bits of Revelation. I think she looks fantastic overall. Definitely. I mean, Sorceress was always a great character. I used to enjoy the toy with the spring out wings.
Yes.
And I'd got to say, I definitely have to look at picking this one up. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be under that new Eternia moniker. But she looks great.
I feel like there's I want to say she's Revelation, but I can't really tell honestly. Her staff is what makes me feel like this might be New Eternia, because that staff is a definite throwback to the toy, the thickness of it, the fact that you can see. I mean, the size of it, the thickness of it, it feels a little bit like clunky, like the original toy, or the especially the Origins version of the staff. So I feel like this might be New Eternia, but we could be wrong here.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Mega J says the articulated jaw is more of a common thing. I think, unfortunately, they both have the same jaw. Okay, well, yeah. Nothing that a little tape won't fix. That's very true.
Very, very true. Yeah. Yeah. I think this saw on Geek Dad Life, his had that same problem. He couldn't manage to get his to stay up.
Yeah. Yeah, a little double-sided tape. So we got oh, sorry, go ahead, Oz.
I was just saying that could work.
Yeah, totally. I love the Sorceress. I've always been a fan of the Sorceress, all versions of her. I think this is great.
Yeah.
And we've got Stratos. This stirred up a little bit of controversy here because we've already seen a version online. I think I saw it on Toy Habits. They posted an image of Stratos with a face, and this showed up at Comic-Con without the face, the familiar Stratos face that we all know. This time he's wearing a mask, and the mask is connected to like an oxygen tank on his belt. And this is definitely got to be. Again, I'm probably wrong, but I feel like this is New Eternia Stratos.
I got to agree. Let's face it, we did not have Stratos really pop up in Revelations too much. Not that I remember. I've watched it several times. Maybe I'll have to watch it again. Maybe I didn't catch them. I do know that we did have other Avians show up. I do remember seeing some Stratos specifically. So with that being said, it's got to be New Eternia. Like
I feel like unless Stratos shows up in Revolution, and that could be. And I think Gamer Bud pulled up an image from Revelation and Sorceress, and that one that we saw, this is for sure then based on Gamer Bud's research. Thank you, Gamer Bud. This is the Sorceress from Revelation. So that's cool.
Still cool either way, yeah.
And then, yes, I agree, Mega J. That mask is for high atmosphere flying. It makes sense logically that he would need that.
Yeah, of course. Always felt that way about him. Like he flies. He's got the wings on the arms. He's got the jetpack. He can definitely get some height. Well, oxygen gets thinner up there, so giving him a little oxygen mask and like a little tank down there. It makes sense. It's a really neat, character design. I like that he's got this more feathered loincloth look to him.
Yes.
I think that's really unique. And then you still see he's got that kind of like hairy buck that we got used to. I'm loving the fact that he's finally coming with the staff of Avion here.
Yes, so cool.
I always kind of felt cheap when it came to Stratos because he's got the wing accessories, he's got his little backpack thing, but he never had a weapon. So, later versions and other lines definitely took care of that. But even with Origins, they couldn't pack him with a staff of Avion. No, couldn't get it. And so now he's finally getting his staff with him in New Eternia look. I like it, and like I've already said, I'm kind of like sold on the New Eternia toys.
Yes, for sure. The New Eternia line is kicking butt right now, and I really like the design of this Stratos. As Gamer Bud pointed out, look, it's the mini comic feather collar finally showing up. Well, we can probably switch that, put that onto our onto our Origins.
That's right.
Flesh tone mini comic Stratos. because we got all the switchable pieces. But I'm really digging on this design. Really digging on this design. Yes, and the mini comic red belt.
Right.
This is a must buy, not waiting for a sale. All right, there you go. We heard it here from Gamer Bud. He's going to get this when it first pops up, full price.
Well, now the question is he going to be kind of like New Attorney of Beastman and be that deluxe? Or is he going to be a standard?
Ooh, that's...
well,
there's not a lot here. We've got probably two different heads and that extra belt, because we're going to get the original head, obviously.
Right.
But that might be it. So I'm hoping they don't do deluxe on this guy, because what else could they include? Anybody have any ideas? That's like me asking. I teach also, so it's me asking a classroom. No response. Let's see here. And of course, I'm sorry, I'm going to step back a little bit. That's because nobody can respond, right? It's just clicking in my brain. Everyone's just in the chat. Let's see. I love Stratos. I'd love it if he had more classic looking vest and backpack. I think that'd be amazing too. I agree. And Thanos Copter says, really like that mask. Very cool.
Sure. Yeah. And now we've moved right into the CGI guys.
Yes. So what do you think about these? Now, Oz, have we talked about this? Have you watched the CGI show? How do you feel about it?
I've watched both seasons of CGI. For some reason, I think I actually like it more than my son. Overall, I like it for what it is. And I think everybody needs to remember this CGI series is geared towards kids.
Yeah.
All of the individual characters, you can see where they have these gimmicks that are specifically designed for the toys to sell toys. Okay. It's going back and watching Filmation He-Man. It's a little rough.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a little rough to go back and watch it. And I think that's why a lot of people are having trouble with the CGI. But CGI was not really... We are not the audience that is meant for. With that being said, I do enjoy that there's more of a flowing plot line to it than even the Filmation series it had. It's really dark in a lot of ways. They went again with the 2000X, the Mike Young production, with Skeletor being Keldor, and they've definitely put in, the full origin of that being Randor's brother. So you have like this really twisted thing where, Keldor is trying to kill his nephew, and it's got some dark tones to it for something that's supposed to be marketed for kids. But overall, I'm not disappointed by it for what it is. I think it's a really great kids show. I think it's a lot of fun. I can see, again, all the design elements that go into every character so that they can put it to market as a toy. And as far as the CGI toy series goes, I think it's great. These are the ones that when I get my son Masters of the Universe, I really like to get him the CGI ones. First off, it's $10 as opposed to like $15 to $20.
Or if you visit Target lately, $2.99 for Skeletor and He-Man. If you can find them on the shelf. I was just shocked.
Wow.
On sale.
Yeah, that's a big steep discount. I know they've got a He-Man and Skeletor 2-pack that comes with like one of the Sentry bots from the show. I've been seeing that around, and I think that's pretty cool because there's a slight different paint app to both figures, and then it comes with that little Sentry accessory. Like I said, like critters, little things like that, I'm a sucker for. And to me, that's a huge selling feature with this Moss Man here.
Yeah, look at that adorable owl. I mean, it's amazing.
That.
Do you think there's any connection to the owl being orange and the sorceress and the Filmation show? And I
don't know.
I feel like there might be, but the CGI show is so much fun and so different in so many ways that I feel like they throw in these little elements as nods to the Filmation show. But I'm with you. I'm really enjoying the CGI show, even though I always skip the intro song because I can't stand that. It's like just not. I can't get on board with the intro song. But then I want. It's too repetitive. It's just not. It's not of my generation. I can't hang. But I do love the storyline and the complexity and the darkness, and I love the crazy weird humor stuff as Gamer Bud mentioned. I believe the humor is a little hopped up on sugar, but that appeals to the kids. I agree. And then the we haven't even talked about it. The season 2 or the season, what is it? Season 3 of He-Man hints at sort of an older version of Eternia, that we might be getting a original version of Orko, and we've seen him like in statue form in the previous episodes. So I'm totally on board with this new show, and I'm really excited about this Moss Man. I've always been a big fan of Moss Man, in all of his forms, and this guy looks cool. I'm a traditionalist. I would love it if the Revelation Moss Man was flocked. I'm hoping that the Origins Moss Man is going to be flocked. My Moss Man, I feel like he needs to be flocked. But I get it. And pine scented, for that matter.
That's right. I want to have that air freshener smell about him. If we can put a little patchouli with our stinkor, we can get a little bit of pine scent with our Moss Man, as the original figure was. I feel like Moss Man should be flocked, but like we discussed last week with Grizzlor, and the fact that he's going to be going to he's going to be a Mattel Creations exclusive. And the only reason I can see them doing that is because of all that hair. That if we flock Origins Moss Man, would he have to be a Mattel Creations exclusive?
I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, I gotta say, they're going a bit heavy with the Mattel Creations exclusive stuff. We know it's a pain to get. I've been very fortunate so far. I know, I've got my mini comic Triclops. I lucked out with the Wondar. I got Koldar. Koldar's on the way. And
that's awesome. Hey, have you got a notification yet from Mattel Creations on your shipping for Koldar?
I have not checked yet. I was doing a bit of other work this week, so I'm not sure if I haven't checked in on it yet. I'm sure that they have sent me one, because while looking for a lot of the pictures and stuff, I've seen quite a few other people have gotten their notification.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really hoping that maybe next week he should be here.
Yeah, I haven't gotten my notification yet, but hopefully soon. Some people are getting them.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see here. We got. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to this comment from Mega J. But first, actually, sorry. I like these figures. They're cheap, but they have the action features that the vintage one have. Absolutely. I mean, the cheapness is great. It's Masters of the Universe. The originals were cheap toys too. This has the action feature. They're doing the job, appealing to the younger audience with the smirks and the facial expressions and the weird proportions. But it has the action feature, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and then
these are the kids' toys.
Yeah, these are the kids' toys, exactly. Now, this is interesting. Mega J Retro says, there's no way that's Evil Seed. I can't believe someone actually suggested that on your stream. Now, I haven't heard that for this Moss Man. I've just assumed that this is Moss Man. I feel like all the things point to Moss Man. But but they could have been referring to Merman. I've heard lots of people say that this is not Merman, that this is Evil Seed. But you know, when we can see the sort of the similarities perhaps in the phase, I guess, but this is in my opinion definitely Merman, especially with that squid and the barnacles and whatever else he's got on him. He's definitely Merman.
All right, yeah, okay. I gotta say, I'm not sure who would have suggested that if the previous screen were supposed to be, if this is Evil Seed, no way. Everything about the screens.
This cannot be Evil Seed.
Look, either that or we showed up at the wrong booth and this is Swamp Thing.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and I see that too.
As I go with this.
Yeah. And Revelation Moss Man looks like a version of Swamp Thing for sure.
Yeah. And same. Like, how could this be anything but Merman? Like, look at his little arm clippy accessory. It's like a squid.
Yeah, it's so cool. This is a really cool Merman. I wish he had the frowny mouth, because I love that about Merman. I feel like this Merman may be missing some paint applications from the mouth, but other than that, this is very cool. It's sort of like one of the things I like about the CGI show is that it's a totally different take on the weirdness of these characters.
Yeah.
Like how Beastman started off in the CGI show as a little guy. Like, that's a brilliant take. By the way, I would like a figure of the original, of like what's his name? Rakosh? Or no, that's his classics name. What's his name in the CGI show before he becomes Beastman, when he's the little guy, the little rascally guy? Rakaz, that's right. Yeah. I would like a little Rakaz, by the way, Mattel, if you're listening.
Just getting down into the chat here. We got
we got lots of comments here. I got to catch up.
Chat is on fire tonight. I'm loving it.
It's awesome, right? And we gotta get better at this, like Mega J is. He just goes right through all the comments.
Yeah, he manages to fly through it.
Yes,
Mega J. I don't know how you keep up.
I don't know either. He gets a lot of comments. So Gamer Bud says, my only counter argument to Grizzlor's reason of being an exclusive is because of the hair. But yeah, I agree. Like, we've got the Masterverse Beastman with all that hair. Why that doesn't make sense to me. Well, different lines, Beastman has more fur than the Grizzlor figure. Yes, perhaps.
You can look at it that way, but we're also looking at an Origins figure versus, again, the Masterverse New Eternia Beastman is a $30 deluxe figure.
Yeah. That's true. Mega J, thanks for being here. We appreciate you
being here, Mega J. Thank you.
We love what you do. He made a comment here. Wait, what? That dude has fins and a Cthulhu squid on his arm? Yeah. This guy's pretty awesome. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, when it really comes to Skeletor's henchmen, Merman, I feel, although should be one of the most beast because of his abilities and his nature, he often gets kind of looked at as more of the dopier sidekick. I don't feel that from this guy at all. I feel like he's going to live up to being like one of the strongest evil masters for sure.
I agree. I'm hoping that they give him some strength of character in this show. And these figures are paint heaven for you, Gamer Bud. Yeah, for sure. Oh, this is great too. Corey says, I want to put one in my fish tank. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He just definitely looks like he's there.
If anybody, I want to do a little bit of a plug. There's a pal of mine through Facebook. His name's Toy Culprits. He's on Instagram. And he has a fish tank, and he has a lot of He-Man, Masters of the Universe stuff in there, including the Grayskull, vintage Grayskull. If you want to see an awesome Motu tank, go to toy culprits on Instagram.
I will definitely have to check that out for sure.
Beating down Aquaman, definitely.
Yeah,
for
he
sure,
is.
Corey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If Grizzlor is $17 on Mattel Creations, then it can't be the price of the fur. Because see, Gamer Bud's like he's like thinking about all the like the reality of this, like depending on, you know, I mean, let's just go back to the original line. Grizzlor was a normal figure in the original line.
That's right.
Okay, that's all we have to remember as a reference point for this. Making him deluxe now is a little bit, or Creations exclusive now is a little bit.
I completely agree. It's ludicrous that he's not going to add me at Fish Tank.
Yeah,
absolutely, Corey. But yeah, it's ridiculous that they would make him the regular version of him. Mattel Creations exclusive. It's just wrong. So
maybe we'll keep our fingers crossed. Maybe it'll change. Maybe they'll just make it more readily available character from Mattel Creations, so we don't feel rushed to get it.
I feel like they mentioned that somewhere, that they were definitely going to have a lot more quantity of them.
That's good.
But it's got to be something that's got to be up there for a couple days so that everybody gets a chance to do it.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Overall, their practices are that they do these things Friday at noon, normally with only like a day or two of advance notice of when it will go on sale.
Yes, yeah.
So for the folks who are at work on a Monday through Friday, you got to ask a friend for help.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to talk to somebody who's home, who's available to jump online, try to get this for you. Whenever you're coming across Mattel Creations exclusive, because it's otherwise going to be impossible for you to ever get one. It sucks that you got to go that extra route, but if you really want it, like, those are the depths you kind of got to go to get these things.
That's right.
But for Grizzlor, I feel like maybe if they're going to do it Friday at noon, run it through the weekend, all weekend, Friday to Monday. And
I agree, and have enough quantity so that everybody can get on board with it.
That's right, for sure.
Yeah. So this Hordak has got a lot. The internet is astir about this Hordak.
Yes.
Some people are mentioning that he's too feminine, but I kind of am digging on this design. I don't know if it's male or female, and I don't know if that even matters. I think this is really cool.
Well, I know we discussed a bit before about how, like, the Horde is the universal monsters of the Masters of the Universe franchise. Yeah. And Hordak has always been the vampire, the Dracula of the group. And to me, I don't feel like he looks effeminate at all. He looks like Nosferatu.
Yeah, he's Nosferatu. He's the vampire. He's Dracula. And this is so. I mean, first of all, vampires traditionally have a pretty good sense of style, and they're sleek in general. And that's what this Hordak has become here, I believe. The feminine aspects, I think people are just responding to him being like thin here. But I think this guy's pretty darn awesome.
I'm loving the design. I think he looks fantastic. He looks creepy. He looks scary. And see right there, Nosferatu, tall and lanky. That's exactly what I was saying.
Duchess agrees too.
That's right. I really think out of this line, this figure is probably going to be my favorite out of all the designs that I've seen throughout. Like, I mean, I already thought Mosquito was pretty cool doing the gender swap and everything. But really, overall, when I saw this figure, I stopped for a moment and I was like, wow. No.
That's awesome.
I think it's fantastic. I think many people would buy this that are just fans of horror in general. because he really has those Nosferatu vibes. He
Yes.
is scary looking.
Yeah, for sure. He's like the face sculpt also reminds me a lot of the Gary Oldman's Dracula when he's transforming.
Yes.
And when he becomes more of the demon Dracula, there's like this scene where his face has transformed, and I think it's when he's like he's dying at the end, or a moment where he's like half bat. I forget which scene in the movie. It's been years, but he kind of reminds me of that, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
We lost Corey for a second because Corey got lost looking at Toy Culprits Instagram. Yeah, I mean, get lost in that. Excellent. It's a great Instagram.
Excellent.
We'll have to put. I'm gonna add Toy Culprits link to the description of this video. I'm also gonna add. I forgot to add Pixel Dan. We referenced Pixel Dan earlier when we were talking about Rulers of the Sun. I'll add that link in too. Gotta give a shout out to Pixel Dan here too. And then we've got Hordak's race could be gender neutral, which would be cool too. Yeah, I agree. Very cool.
I'd be fine with that. He's a monster. Yeah, I'm using the pronoun he, but it's a monster. It doesn't have to have a gender, in my opinion.
That's right.
So I tried to link it, but YouTube said no.
Oh, all right.
Well, I think Skele Vader probably has a little bit more control what he can link in his description, so we'll definitely get it up there.
Yeah, I'll put it. I'm going to populate all that tonight, so it'll be in there.
Great. Now, another thing I love about this toy line is it's toys. It's fun. So far, we've had one play set from this already that's kind of as far as play set goes, but I mean, it's got a fun play feature with the snake and everything. Just about every single character that they've got single carded in the line, they release a version with a vehicle, which I think is really cool. Like we've had their version of Panther being a motorcycle. We've had that Road Ripper motorcycle with He-Man. Trapjaws come with like that crazy wheel car gimmick from Carmageddon. If you guys ever watched the video game. Man at Arms had his own motorcycle, which has been cool. Just recently, they've gone on sale for the Talon Fighter for this series with the Sorceress. And now here we have, again, two different versions of He-Man and Skeletor once again. And Skeletor's coming with this evil, wicked Havoc Beast thing. And He-Man has what looks very clearly kind of like the Dragon Walker from the 2000X series. This is what's great about this line. And chances are price points are going to be about like $20 because, I mean, just based off the fact that the motorcycle variations of the characters are $20. I love it. I think this stuff is great. If you're collecting it to collect it, it's going to eat up shelf space.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'm gonna have a hard time resisting the green like spirit of Skeletor. Sorry for any spoilers, and the strange Dragon Walker creature demon thing that he's riding. But I could probably pass on the Stratos robot He-Man set, but that Skeletor is really, really awesome.
It is. It's really cool. I mean, one of the things I've liked about the one that came with the Panther motorcycle was he had the Disco Skeletor variant.
Yeah.
And that's great because I love a good variant. I thought Disco Skeletor was cool, so they do that nod with that. But they've got the single carded Skeletor who has one look. The 2-pack that I mentioned earlier about He-Man Skeletor with the robot, that's a paint variant. And then we have these paint variants here. And I think both of them look cool. But this all neon green Skeletor, and
so cool.
I'd have to put some purple highlights in there. You know,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Purple accenting, I think would really make that figure pop.
And Gamer Bud is already talking about it. It's like gotta add paint to that Strator because it looks pretty like I don't see any paint applications, but that's fairly common with the vehicles on this line so far.
Yeah.
And then Gamer Bud also said we better get a Disco Skeletor in Origins, or in Masterverse, or both. I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you on that.
I think Disco Skeletor is going to be, you know, they've got the 2000X version of Skeletor out now. And since it was 2000X version that did the paint variant for the Disco Skeletor, I think we'll see a paint variation Disco Skeletor 2000X style Origins.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And again, they got to slow down with the exclusives.
Yeah, they just gotta focus on getting the figures to us. Put them in the stores. So just put them in the stores, then we'll talk about Mattel Creations exclusive after.
That's right.
So Oz sent this to me earlier. Let's talk about this. I think this is so cool. This is so awesome.
I love this. Again, and what a great segue with talking about paint variations on that last slide. You've done a beautiful job of stringing these together. So World's Smallest Toys does this line where they release these really, really tiny versions of action figures. And they've done like regular Skeletor, they've done regular He-Man, they've done Battle Cat, and I love action figure photography, and people have done entire setups where they've got like their big Skeletor, their Origins Skeletor, their Origins He-Man holding these. That's right. How much money do they think we have? Absolutely.
Right.
Not enough.
Not enough
is the real reality to the whole thing, because I'm still cringing, and we have not even seen that Eternia playset's price.
Yeah, I am so nervous about that. I mean, this is years behind me, years and years and years of collecting, and you know, it's really hard. And I think one of the biggest complaints. So Corey, speaking to what you just said, how much money do they think we have? There are so many releases just being thrown at us right now that it's almost overwhelming. I've heard a lot of toy YouTube channels talk about this, including Mega J. But like, how can we even keep up, really?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe that's part of the reason for the poor distribution to slow us down some. I don't know. The problem is games are coming out and going, and we're not seeing them at all, so they're not getting any money.
That's true.
But then you've got other collectors, like again Craig from Yes Have Some. He was just talking with their San Diego Comic-Con reveals and news that they were talking about that he saw the Origins playset, and if you guys watch their channel, you know Craig has claimed 2022 the year of the playset. So with that claim, how could it's almost like he predicted that this was coming. But with that being said, how could he not pick up the Eternia playset? And he was even saying he just recently sold off all of his Origins because he was done with it. Other stuff's coming out that he wants to get. And now, just because of Eternia alone, he wants to get back in and buy back all of his Origin stuff. You know, he's sold and bought back and sold again his entire classified series. It gets tough because there's not enough money to spread around. And you're not even just talking cost of toy with a lot of this stuff. I mean, I know, yes, buying online makes it a little bit easier as far as getting things in some ways, but you know, it's the fun, the thrill of the hunt and going around driving to toy stores. You can't even do that anymore. You can't drive around to multiple stores. You know, myself, my friend Chris, he takes me out on the weekends and we go and we do toy hunting, like either Saturdays or Sundays. And when we go, it's like we used to take longer drives. We could go view more stores. But now it's like, well, we're only hitting the same 3 stores because they're all within a close driving radius, because you just don't make the trips out anymore. Not that we were having much luck when we were going that far out in the first place, because all we could find was Lando. So, and Thanos Copter saying he will most likely get Eternia. But damn it, that's one that almost might just stay in a box for a while until you build an addition.
Agreed. And we're all thinking that, Thanos.
That's right.
I want to just mention that GamerBud had some great ideas here, getting 2 web stores so that you can make a Leo Skeletor using that particular colored plastic, and then also use the 2-pack Skeletor's head and armor for that dark purple look. Absolutely. Very cool option.
I've actually seen those customs from a couple of people where they've done that. So that is definitely the right way to go about making your own version of the Leo Skeletor. So it's just interesting that this popped up today as I was trying to do some networking and some cross promoting, and I was on Reddit, and I'm in a Masters of the Universe subreddit, trying to interact a little bit more so I can get my post karma up. And one of the gentlemen in the group, believe his name is B-Wing B17, posted that he got some blind bags and he got a Battle Cat and he got this Leo Skeletor, and he was asking about the Leo Skeletor and what that meant. So I did go ahead and give a brief explanation of where this variant came from. Yes,
there he is.
B-Wing B17. You are awesome, man. Thank you for posting the great pics. I did take a chance to look at your profile on Reddit a little bit. I've seen you've done a couple of these, so I definitely may want to. I think we may have to, again, in maybe a future show, talk a little bit more about these smallest toys and just look at some neat action figure photography that's done with. I know you have several pictures with doing these, and I think it's really, really unique. But the fact that the company that does these world's smallest toys has went into doing paint variants, obscure paint variants
that's brilliant. That's so brilliant.
Skeletor. I think that's fantastic. I'm hoping maybe we'll see a Camo Khan, the Leo Faker. I mean,
and look at the size of that mini comic,
right? And
we're talking mini comic.
Yes, and B-Wing has pictures. You can open that up. There's panels in there. That's not just a print, like a card. That is a legit mini comic. And
that's awesome.
He's got that quarter right there for scale. I'll have to get some more of his pictures. Maybe we can post them up on another show. Like I said, we'll talk about these world's smallest figures. I'll even try to find some of the guys that do the ones where they've got He-Man and Skeletor battling it out with their mini versions of themselves in toy format, like they're playing. Yeah. It's hysterical to look at. They've even done a Castle Grayskull that the door opens up on that thing.
What is that? Yeah. Is that's a real thing? That's gotta be. That's so cool.
A thing. See, that's just a whole talking topic for another one. And it's not just Masters of the Universe they do. They've got B-Wing. You might be able to help it out because you're probably more well versed. I know I've seen some Transformers.
I've seen Transformers and I've seen Ninja Turtles for sure.
Yes, some Ninja Turtle stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I found a Tila. I found a miniature, same line. Tila got her for it was like sitting there on the shelf for ages, I guess, at Target, and I picked it up for really cheap. But this whole concept of blind bags and variants and all that stuff with these figures, that's amazing. We need to talk about that more in depth. We got to do some research and come back and talk about it. Now check this out. Yes, it's a full comic book. The blind box also comes with a magnifying lens to help see and read it. That is just blowing my mind right now. This is amazing. Yeah, this is amazing.
So really cool. Well, yeah, we definitely will have to do some homework. Maybe even do just like a video or a stream of us talking about like the top 10 most sought after paint variants.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, for sure.
And you guys too. The chat's been on fire all night tonight. I really appreciate you guys joining us and coming out and saying and being here, picking up some knowledge, learning about these things. It's been fantastic. Really awesome to have you all here.
Yeah.
There's some. Go ahead, Skeletor.
No. I'm excited too. I'm excited just like you are. Let's continue, and then I'll come in right after you're done.
Well, I was just gonna say, everybody, if you've liked what you've watched here tonight, you enjoy, you want some more, you gotta let us know. Hit a like, hit a subscribe. We definitely love hearing feedback from you guys and joining in, talking with us. And Gamer Bud, we love having you here, man. You have been on fire all night with us. It's fantastic. Definitely double thumbs up to you, man.
Yes.
Again, B-Wing, I know we saved you for the end. Sometimes you got to say the best for last. That was just, it was so random today that I saw it, and I was like, this is something I'd like for us to talk about and put on the show tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely, just brilliant. And Thanos Copter, are you guys picking up the Formo Toys Legends of Dragonor? It's the last week of pre-orders. Thank you for reminding me of this extra thing that's really stressing me out, because I wish I could, and I feel badly because I'm not directly connected with the people who are doing that, but I know them through Facebook groups, and I think what they're doing is amazing. I just have a very limited budget on what I can collect, what I can afford to collect. If I could get all the things, that would definitely be in there. So, Thanos, if you end up getting them, let us know.
That's right. I mean, the Legends of Dragonor guys, I was seeing their product back when it was Lords of Power. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And I'm looking at their designs and I'm like, is this some kind of intentional thing just to get them to get marketing? But yeah, it's one of those things. I'd love to support those guys. They are actually living my dream of getting a toy line like that out to market. I really want to do that myself, actually. So seeing them be able to do that, I think it's fantastic what they're doing. Unfortunately, as Corey stated, if they think, sadly not made of money and cannot afford to get all of, I got so much flying at me from Masters of the Universe, and that's really the only toy line that I collect.
Yeah.
That
can you hear me?
Even have enough money.
I'm sorry to...
Yeah, I can totally hear you. I know you kind of disappeared there for a bit, but
I think my earbuds are dying on me.
Okay.
So apologies for that, for cutting out there and interrupting, but I just had to check. And
Duchess, see your comment here. This has been great. Thank you for showing up again. Really, you guys should check out Duchess of Darkness's channel, Wicked Wednesdays. Definitely stop by there and check her out. She's fantastic. She'll send chills up your spine.
Yeah, for sure. I can totally vouch for it, folks. I'm new as of last Wednesday, and definitely creepy.
Yeah.
But also fantastic. Very smart stuff there.
In the best way.
Yeah. Thanos Copter said, oh, let me go back here. Thanos Copter said, yes, I got the Legends of Drakenor pre-ordered. That's awesome. Maybe we'll have you on as a guest, Thanos, and we can have a look at those figures.
That would be great.
When you get them.
Be a cool thing when you get those in.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know, Thanos. Again, down below is my email. So folks, all of you that are here, we really appreciate you being here. If you have any questions that you want us to answer in the next Toy Frenzy, just send me an email. I'll make sure I log all of those and keep track of them. And Thanos, when you get those figures in, let us know. We'll have you on the show. And for any of you, if you have any ideas for us, just let us know what your ideas are. This is a new show. We're really excited about all the possibilities. Oz is awesome. I really enjoy working with you here, Oz. This has been so much fun.
Skelevator, it's been a blast.
It really has.
I'm certainly looking forward to the next time we can do a show. I mean, last week and this week have been absolutely amazing. I'm glad to see the chats popping off tonight, so people are definitely enjoying what we're bringing. So yeah, any suggestions you guys have, please let us know. Skelevator has his email up. You go ahead and email it to him. Anything you want us to see us to cover. I mean, we were just talking about we could probably do a video about some color variants and seeing what's going on there. If there's any other news or anything like that, or hey, maybe we missed something. Let us know. If there's something that you saw at San Diego Comic-Con that you want us to cover a little bit, sure, let us know.
There's so much to talk about.
Oh God, yeah.
So Thanos says they ship out first quarter 2023. Cool. Well, let us know. We'll have you on. We'll do an episode where you show off your figures. I think that'll be really amazing. We'll be able to live vicariously through you. That's really cool.
Gonna have to at this point for that one, sadly.
Yeah. So yeah, we the usual thing, folks. Please click like and subscribe. Tell your friends about the Skelevator channel. Tell your friends about the Toy Frenzy show here on the Skelevator channel. Shoot us an email. Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about. If you have any questions for us, if you have questions for Skelevator or for Oz Geis, put those in the email as well. Or make a comment down below. After this video is finished with its live, it'll still be up there. Make comments below. If you're interested in supporting our endeavors, there's always an opportunity to upgrade. StreamYard does we're using the free service. If we want to upgrade, it's going to cost a little money. I'm thinking about saving a chunk of change to help with that. But if you feel like supporting Skelevator as a patron, I do have a Patreon page up. You can go look at those options. And if those options don't work for you, just let me know. Email me and let me know how you want to help the channel. The more we can do, the more we can share. Does that make sense? So let us know. Help us out if you can. I know money's tight. Oz knows money's tight. But I feel like this is a great way for us to sort of get together and share ideas and talk about things and expand our horizons a little bit in the toy collecting universe. So thank you all for being here.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Definitely hit like, subscribe. And again, if you can, join the Patreon. If you've seen Skelevator's work on some of his previous videos, on some of these custom projects that he does, that's amazing. And if you want to see more of that, I know I definitely do. Sign up, become one of his patrons, so that way he can continue to make. I mean, Jay brought it up, that custom Snake Mountain is massive. It's huge. And
I'd love to make another one someday.
yeah, that'd be great. I definitely would love to see more.
Yeah, thanks, Oz. You're all fantastic. B-Wing, thanks for showing up. Thanos, thanks for being here, and thank you for the comment. I love the graphic design, by the way, Thanos Copter. Did you design that yourself? That's amazing.
Yes,
Let us
great.
know if you have some graphic design skills. I definitely don't. If you've seen my chicken scratch graphic design, you know it's not just that I'm like an old school punker, but it's also because I just don't have the skills. So, but anyways, we really appreciate y'all being here. We went a little bit longer this time than we did last time, which is cool. And my earbuds told me, they're like doo doo doo. So we're all getting ready for bed. I know. Oh, Thanos said he found it on the internet. That's cool. Yeah, find it on the internet. Use the stuff. But thank you all so much. This has been a lot of fun. This has been a blast.
Absolutely. And we'll let you all know when the next time we're going to be doing our very next show will be.
That's right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. See ya.